Okay. Hi, everybody. I am back. Sorry about that. I was in the wrong stream. I had multiple streams scheduled. It doesn't matter. Let's get to the mess. Let's get to the mess of what you guys thought of the Real Housewives of Potomac Part 4 recap and rants. This is the review, right? Listen. I'm going to repeat what I said. Welcome, 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 everybody. Right? I'm going to repeat what I said literally. Let's start over from the beginning, right? What happened? What was going on with Monique Spinder? Now, listen, I know we're talking about Real Housewives Part 4 of the Potomac reunion, and we're talking about Nikki. But just follow me on you guys. Follow me on this. When Monique had that binder, a lot of you guys thought that she just blew up the internet. I literally yawned and said, "We're tired, we're asleep, nobody cares," because it seemed really pedestrian to me. But the way everybody was acting at the reunion, Giselle's face, she was just looking there like that meme where like somebody's smiling, but behind the mask they're like crying angry tears. And the way Monique was acting, she acted like she was reading Giselle. But all we got was something very, very pedestrian, things that we already knew. Welcome. Come on in the room, everybody, right? Now, that's all we got is things very, very pedestrian. The weird thing is, the funny thing is, right? The funny thing is that when this reunion aired, and judging by things I'd heard, I thought Giselle was going to get dragged all up and down the doors. And that did not happen. Let me tell you what happened, right? So, a few weeks ago on Watch What Happened Live, Karen Huger was there. And Andy asked her, "What housewife do you think got the worst from Nikki?" And first, Karen was playing coy. But then she was like, Andy gave her the okay to speak kind of freely. And she said, "Well, honestly, I think it was Giselle." And Andy was disappointed. I talked about this before. He was like, let me get Andy's thing. Andy was like, "You don't think that it was Candace?" And she was like, "No, it's Giselle. Nikki dragged her. It was epic. It was it was so bad. I almost felt bad for her." I just hope that the producers will leave it in this time. And I hope we get to see it. And then Andy slipped up and Andy said, "Yeah, I hope they don't edit it out this time. I hope we do get to see it." And the thing was, I was like, what are they talking about? But now that I see this reunion and how everybody says that Nikki went in on Giselle, and all the producers told us, right? All the producers told us that, that Giselle built the church with Jamal. And then I think she also said, what else? Giselle built the church with Jamal. And Giselle also did what? Giselle also said, "Oh, I love them very much and I wanted this to work." And then they just let her off the hook. And that's when I said, you see what the souls of newbies can buy you? You see what can happen if you literally, literally don't move through with the souls of newbies. You see what happens. Giselle is buying her way out. That even though people do go in on her, even though people do challenge her, even though because she throws people under the bus. And if you read All Diamonds Aren't Roses, that's the book from the Housewives. I did a few recaps on it. You will 100% know that, yeah, this is what Giselle does. And this is the deal she made. And this is why she made that deal, because she's always skating under, just under the radar. They edited a lot out. There was a point when Giselle said that she helped build the church with Jamal. And I said, okay, fine. I see why your dad can't stand Jamal. This man, according to Karen and people in the streets, dragged you through the dirt, caused you to have a nervous breakdown, right? All this stuff happened, dragged you through the dirt, caused you to have a nervous breakdown, did all this stuff, and you helped build a church. But then I remembered Giselle's a little bit of a liar too. Because you left when Grace was young, and I think the twins were just born. The twins didn't even know Jamal living in the house. So how much could you have built the church up? Now, I get it. When they were knocking on doors and she was dressing her like Jesus is the reason for the season, long skirts and bobby socks. I don't know what Giselle was wearing, right? But that's what first ladies wear in Hallmark movies. So I'm assuming that's what first ladies wear, right? When they were doing all that stuff, maybe like, when they had 10 people, 20, 30, 40, maybe she left, they had a congregation of maybe a small but humble and mighty congregation of, I don't know how much, a few hundred, a few hundred, because she said when she left, well, now Jamal has a congregation of 15,000. Or did she mean when she left the church, Jamal had a congregation of 15,000? I can understand how Jamal grew that church because, listen, when Monique went through the binder, I went to some of Jamal's stuff on YouTube. Jamal was giving me motivational talks. He's a very prolific speaker. That saying how they say the tongue is anointed. I'm not even religious, and his tongue had me being like, maybe I need to go to church. Where you at? New Haven, lots. I literally was like, he has an anointed tongue. He's an incredible motivational speaker. So I can see how Jamal got it, and I can see how Giselle would be a good first lady because Giselle does know how to talk to people, and she does know how to organize and manage, and she's the voice of reason and authority. The only thing is she's chosen to use her powers for evil on the Real Housewives of Potomac, and I guess in the church she was using her powers for the good. Listen. Oh wait, Nikki K said I thought he took over his dad's church. What? 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 Yo, let me change this. Hold on, really quick. Hold on. Let's change this. Okay. Sorry, guys. My brain's been scattered all day. Okay, but I am back. I am back. I am back, right? Yes. Listen, editing is you got in, but what did Jamal? What? You got in, but what did Jamal's tongue do to Tisa? Macy, what are you talking about? Jamal's tongue. I said I listened to him on YouTube and it was a motivational talk. What are y'all? Okay, so let's go. Anyway, I've never actually been to Jamal's church. I don't know Jamal. I was literally watching him on YouTube, and he's an incredibly gifted and prolific speaker. I don't know what you guys are talking about with tongue, Macy. Okay, anyway, right? Let's see. Okay, oh, he founded Empowerment Temple, and that's what. Hold on, really quick, guys. That's what. He founded Empowerment Temple. Okay, so let's see. Hold on. Jamal has money from public speaking. All right, maybe. Keep it simple said, hey, Tisa, that's what I heard, that he took over his father's church, right? Yeah, let's just delete that comment. Anyway, let's see. Jamal had money from public speaking. His dad is retired bishop from the AME church. Okay. Okay, so I guess he took over his father's church, right? Let me just delete that comment. I don't even want that on my live. Hold on, guys, really quick. Let's see what's going on. Anyway, so anyway, here we go, right? Okay, so hey Nerva, hey, what's up? Okay, so let's get into this recap, all right? And you guys, let's keep it PG-13 in the comments, all right? Please. Not in the mood tonight. All right, so listen. And Nikki sits down, she gets straight into business. She's talking about, listen, Ashley, like, why did you do this? How come you don't have a storyline? Ashley gives her Miss America answer saying, well, this is my 6th year and I have a repertoire, right? And then they show all about the tea and all true thing, Chi. And let me tell you something I found out about YouTube. I know that you guys are always like, oh, bloggers are paid. Bloggers are paid. I don't know anything about that. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just friends. Maybe that's just how they feel, right? I'm not talking about that. But I have noticed that there are certain blogs, right? Not vloggers, but blogs that not Andy, I can't say that, but the Real Housewives franchise that Bravo, that NBC Universal feels comfortable using. I know that Reality Tea is. If you guys don't follow Reality TV, it's a website, realitytea.com. They old head. They always have stories. They always have insight. I think even before I got into YouTube, I was reading reality TV. Reality TV has been around since Melissa and Joe getting on the Real Housewives in New Jersey. It's an OG in the game. But they also showed all about the tea. Showed all about the tea. And it made me think, do you remember when everybody was digging into all about the tea? because All About the Tea had they were digging into All About the Tea because All About the Tea had all these stories that would show up. It made me think, now that I know what I know, were the producers from reality shows feeding All About the Tea fake stories to make storylines? Do you know what I'm saying? Were they feeding them fake stories to fuel storylines? I don't know why, but I saw. Does anybody else feel that way, that they were doing stuff, right? Yeah, it just made me think. It's like, but you guys, are you guys the one planting the stories? So then you can have storylines to actually push? Because it's weird that you would take this blog that everybody is saying is so, like, has a bad reputation. Everybody says just makes up shit. Everybody stuff just makes up stuff, right? It's weird that when they did that, right? It's weird that when they did that, you know, uh I don't know. It's weird that when they did that, it's just really, really weird that when they did that, it did. I don't know. I don't know. And everybody knows they're liars. And honestly, I'll tell you what, I could see a B Scott. I could see a TGI Fridays, Claudia's show. I could even see a DJ Ricky Sky, of course, binge worthy, a Layla Lynn, a Grace Ali. Like, I could see them using that because they are reputable. They do break stories. People go for the gossip for housewives. But you guys pick the one blog that literally is the equivalent of the national. Can you get the door? You guys literally picked the one blog that is the equivalent of the National Enquirer. You guys picked that person that's doing Bigfoot stories and making up fantastic lies and all this stuff. That's what you guys choose to actually focus on. And the producers had to know that they were lies, unless the producers were the ones actually making the lives, unless the producers knew that they were the one. I think they knew that they were. What do y'all think, right? Let's see. This came up in a segment on another content creator's page. They were saying Monica knew too much about stories were never true. Thank you, Gloria. That's exactly right. Oh, that's a good point too. Nubian says a lot of times some of the reality stars put out their own rumors. Maybe you might be right. Maybe it's like an ecosphere. Sometimes the reality stars go to these blogs to get blown up, and sometimes, right? Sometimes maybe the producers actually go to be put onto. I don't know. It's an ecosphere, but let's get into this. Hold on, really quick. Okay, so then we get into Ashley, right? We get into Ashley. She's saying that, um, you know, they're talking about the blogs, they're doing this, they're doing that. She asks, listen, why did you approach Wendy with that bullshit about her husband? Why did you approach Wendy with the bullshit about her husband? Ashley was like, listen, you're going through all these things, you're changing your body, you're doing all this stuff to kind of make your husband happy and maybe experience some insecurity, and you're just desperate, and you're just trying to, like, you're trying to get the adrenaline going. You're trying to catch his eye again. He's been following big booty hoes all this time on internet, right? This is what you're doing. But the funny thing is about that, I looked at her, I said, Ashley, weren't you the one crying because you weren't skinny enough for Michael? But Ashley, weren't you the one that had postpartum depression? And listen, I'm not making fun of her postpartum depression. I know it's a big thing. But the part of it that had to do with the fact that you didn't feel sexy for Michael. Michael wouldn't touch you. Michael wouldn't, lay in the marital bed with you. And you were desperate to get skinny and in shape and this and that, and even your own husband. So if you're going to sit there and be like, oh, it's only because you were acting funny that we said this, why is it that whenever Ashley is pregnant, whenever Ashley is being body shamed, and again, a lot of people said, oh no, I only said this, right? A lot of people said, oh no, I only said this because, I only said this because, I just felt there was something going on. But whenever it comes to Ashley, everybody gives her a ticket, a get out of jail free ticket, because they're just like, yo, why is it that you only can empathize with someone if you're going through the exact same thing, but the minute you're not, you're right back to being evil? We give Ashley a lot of leeway, being pregnant, postpartum depression, having her children, as we should, right? As we should. Fine, Ashley, you're in that pregnancy bubble. We really can't drag you the way we want because you're in that pregnancy bubble. But why isn't through all the trials and tribulation Ashley goes through with her body and feeling not sexy and this and that, why can't she give anybody else the same grace? The fact that you're trying to make it seem like because Wendy, after she had 3 children, wanted to do some work on her body. Now, again, Wendy could have gone to the gym, true, but the work she wanted, the gym wasn't going to give her the curves. It wasn't going to make her butt as big as she wanted, and it wasn't going to lift her chest up the way she wanted. So Wendy had decided, I can't get what I want out of the gym, so I'm going to go under the knife. And you did it. Ashley, you did the same thing. You didn't go under the knife, but you like literally put this weird pressure on yourself to look good so that your husband would touch you after you had the babies. Ashley's not allowed to gain weight. Ashley has to stay Darby's Barbie. And we can clown all day, but the one person I would expect someone to give grace about the way they're feeling about their body, especially after having a baby, is someone that had a baby around the same time that Wendy did. I don't know, right? Hey, thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer says no one cared enough about Wendy, a newbie last year, and Eddie to give it out rumors about their marriage. The story is 100% planted. I agree, Jennifer. Hey, Reggie Greg Planchard. Follow him on Instagram and Twitter. What's up? You said, I enjoy Nikki. I'm glad that she replaced that Stell batch for this part. Yo, I'm glad too. But I really, and thank you so much, Jennifer, for the super chat. And thank you, Reggie. I liked Nikki too. I loved her. I just do wish that they'd edited her better because I kind of feel like they downplayed. I feel like they downplayed Wendy. Also, you guys, did you guys see Portia? I saw Portia on What Should Happen Live, and I also saw her on the Family Value, whatever her Family Matters show is. Y'all, I'm doing a full recap on Portia's Family Matters, but there is so many receipts I need to pull out. I'm going to do it tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on my channel, Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to be joined by Grace Report, Layla Lynn, Layla, tell it all, and the Grace Report, and of course, Up and Adam. We're going to be on my channel at 12:30 p.m., and it looks like we're going to be reviewing the show. All right, so you guys, make sure you join me, Tattle Tells, and show up and show out. It is going to be a phenomenal live. I'm bringing receipts, and I'm bringing some new tea. And I'm going to do a separate review for Portia's Watch What Happened Live, because it was a mess. All right, there we go. Now, I will say, right? I will say thank you, right? I didn't like the way, okay, let's get to that, right? So then we get to Juan and Robin. Ashley did address that she started drama. She did address that, so I'll get that. Then we get to Ron and Robin, right? Robin needs to pick a lane. First, she's talking about Juan doesn't think she's sexy. Now Juan thinks the success she has is sexy. Is it me that he's happy that you're getting out of the bed and brushing your teeth and combing your hair? Or is it the money you're making? Or do you feel more self-confidence? But I see what's going on. Robin has her talking points. And even when the situation changes, Robin doesn't change her talking points very much. Let me just turn my air conditioner. I keep going between heat and air because I can't get comfortable, right? Robin needs to get her story right? She talked about, are we mad at Ashley? The way Robin's always running after Giselle. Here's the thing, y'all, that I think we all have it twisted. I don't think Robin is Giselle's puppet. I think Giselle is a puppet of production. And because Giselle is her bestie, right? Because Giselle is her bestie. Hold on really quick, guys. Because Giselle is her bestie, Giselle is putting her down on game, right? And that's why she's asking Giselle, are we mad? Because Giselle put her down on that same game. If you do what the producers tell you and lay low, the producers will never really dig too much into your life. They'll let you give it a little bit, but then you'll just be sitting there, always sitting pretty. And that's why she said, are we mad, right? Now, I did like that Nikki called Robin out. And when she was like, why is somebody getting mad? And Nikki was like, Robin, stop. You mean to tell me that you didn't know it was going to be a problem, that what's her name was running down, dropping a bomb about the marriage and then leaving, and you didn't know that she was going to react like that? Robin, shut up, right? Shut up, right? Then they talk about Robin and Giselle being secret lovers. That was funny for like 30 seconds, but they dragged it out. How did she go into Giselle? How did she dig into Mia? How did they edit all that out? But they had time for us to feel like 6 minutes on whether Robin and Giselle would actually like hook up. Oh, it looked jealous. I don't know. I don't think it was cute. I don't think they're an attractive couple. Even if they were to get together, I was like, I don't have any interest in this. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like people that are in their 50s, right? Where you know how like with the young kids, it was a fad, like the Paris Hilton thing about acting like you were bi to like, excite the guys, right? I'm not saying that you guys did it, but it was something very big in pick me culture, acting like you were bi to get the guys. It was another thing of patriarchy, even though they weren't bi. But it was, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? That Paris Hilton, Katy Perry, I kissed a girl and I liked it thing. It reminded me of people of Giselle and Robin kind of outside of the sphere. And it literally reminded me of them trying to be like, "Ooh, that's what's in. Bi curious. Haha, let's make bi jokes." And I'm like, it was funny like 20 years ago. I don't know. It was funny 20 years ago. What are y'all doing, right? Robin asked Ashley if she was jealous. She was like, ew, yuck. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat, B. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Robin asked Ashley if she was jealous, and Ashley was like, Connor, I do believe that Ashley has a crush on Giselle. I've always believed that Ashley has a crush on Giselle. Then we get to Juan and Michael. Woo! We get to Juan and Michael. She asks her, do you think that Juan is sexually attracted to Michael? No, Michael's sexually attracted to Juan. And she's like, Miss America, Nikki, sexually attracted? How? And so Nikki calls her out and she's like, girl, what other way is there to be attracted to someone except sex? What you think, friend attractive? So then she was like, no, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then Nikki asks what I've asked. Why is Juan entertaining Michael then if he's not attracted? And they try to get into, no, like, blah, 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 blah. I think it's because he would never do it. I know my man, this and that. So then Nikki says a good point. But if this was a woman texting, told me that I would S my man's D, right? And now he's texting her and they're going on trips and they're doing this and doing that. One, it seems disrespectful. Two, it seems like you're flirting the line of flirtation because the texts have to become flirtatious at some point. This man has made it clear that he wants them. Then Nikki dials it back and she says, well, I know with straight men, what would they do that? Then Nikki thought about it and she was like, well, no, that's not it. Because, they go through so much and this and that and blah, blah. It just seems odd that he's entertaining them, right? And everybody's sitting there acting like, well, I guess, I guess it is normal for a straight man to be friends with a man who is in the LGBTQ community, right? And Ashley's face was just sitting there because everybody was sitting there acting like it was a foregone conclusion that Michael was at least bi. And Ashley's face is, she's like, hello, guys. I know you guys talk about this when I'm not here. And I know you guys talk about me like a dog, but hello, I'm here. Michael's not gay. That cracked me up the way everybody was worried about whether Juan was entertaining it or not. But even in the story, Juan was the one that didn't prefer men. And everybody just acted like it was, of course, everybody knows that Michael likes, right? Everybody knows that Michael likes men. And Ashley had her face, when she's like, but Michael's not gay. And I was like, sure, Jan. Literally, that's what. Sure, Jan. Right? But you know what? Why don't you guys? We're gonna bring Mel NYC reviews in. What's up, Mel? How are you doing? You came in just in the nick of time. You guys, let's not turn this conversation into people being on damn low or anything like that. We're gonna keep it very light and very respectful. But I do want to know to the people who are members, only people who are members of the LGBTQ community, right? Let me know, because I know there's like stigma, I know there's hardship, I know there's discrimination. So I know there's like a lot of things that drive certain things into the subculture, or at least it used to be. I don't know, right? Maybe things have changed. But is it normal? And also, if you are a woman, in the LBG, let me know, but you need to be a member of the LGBTQ. I don't want anybody who's not a member telling me what they think about their community. Is it normal for people to entertain relationships with people that have said they are sexually interested in them when that person has a significant other? Because I can speak for the hetero community. It is very, very not acceptable for someone to declare sexual interest in your mate and then your mate proceed to keep a friendship with them. Do you know what I'm saying? But you guys, weigh in. Mel, what did you think about that? What did you think about that?
Well, hello, hello. Hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful holiday, you know, food and everything. And you said that Miss Nikki left no crumbs. I was saying in the chat she left no leftovers either, honey. There was nothing left on the table. She ate them up. She ate them up, and just that was it. Um, she did the job times 300 for Andy. You know what I was going to say too, Tisa? You know what? And maybe if you have family, brothers or cousins or whoever, this is this crazy thing as a gay man. I will say this. Yeah, so you know what? If you happen to go to a gym, I'm going to paint a scenario. You go to a gym and you see people out there working out or whatever, and you may think somebody's attractive, you may think they're cool, whatever, and they don't take offense to it, it is known that you do find them attractive, and it's not totally weird. Now, when it comes to Juan and Michael, that situation is like it's a situation all to itself. So I've had situations where I've been friends with straight men who at first I didn't know if they were straight or whatever. And I said, "Oh, I think that you're attractive," and it was all right. It was cool. They was like, "You know what? It's okay, brother. It's fine. You know what? It's nothing harsh." It's basically like with a beautiful woman. If you come up to her and you tell her she's attractive, she's like, "Well, I'm in a relationship, but we can still be friends." It's sort of that way. It's not going to be out of bounds. That's been my
Here's the
experience.
thing. But let's put it in the thing because I'm putting it in the situation of Juan and Michael because again, if a woman said that about my mate, right? And Reggie, shout out to Reggie. You said it's rare, but it does happen,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Reggie, you can speak on this because you know it's about to be like, Reggie, get out of here. You ain't part of that community. But listen, it's a woman was coming on to my man and literally told me that she wanted to S my man's D, right? Um,
Well, I was going to say this, Tisa. What about this? What if a woman came on to you and she found you so attractive, and she came on to you and she basically pulled a wand. She was Michael and you were Juan to her, and she was like, "Oh, I just I'm so but you had your relationship, so obviously your partner, whoever they weren't into C, but it's up to you to go. Do I want to be friends with her? Or do I not want to be friends
No,
with her?
no,
Even though she finds me
not the
attractive."
meeting. No, listen, not the meeting. Everybody, they your eyes like what you see. That's
Right.
different. I'm talking about once, like you go up to that person in the gym, right?
Yes.
He says to you, right? I want to S your D. Your boyfriend is looking like, what? And then all of a sudden, you guys are going to the movies, you're going to Broadway plays, you guys are going to Vegas. You
Come
see what
on.
I'm saying? It's not the
Mm.
fact that somebody thought somebody was
So we talk
attractive.
about so we talk about Robin mostly, like her strange reaction. Okay, well, like again, so this is the thing. So yeah, so it's known. So when guys get together and stuff, this happens, especially if you don't know what's going on. But that being said, I love the fact that Nikki asked those questions about Juan and Michael. I mean, yeah, Juan and Michael. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, Michael is suspect, and the thing with him, T says that do we feel for him? And I'm not going to be too shady. Do we feel with Michael that he knows when that he respects when people say no? We the history and
But
patterns
is
with
he
him.
saying no? But is
No,
he
no,
saying no? Because Michael doesn't strike me as having a great personality. At least it's just me, right? Right? He just, I don't know. However, the fact that like one enjoys his company,
yeah.
and I don't understand where
Well,
this friendship's coming from.
it's weird, and I think that the simple fact is, so it's not just like a man who is suspect and nice and everything, but it's Michael. It's a person who actually is had issues with taking advantage of people, that kind of stuff.
He's
So
grabby.
so yeah, so he's not in the regular categories of the sort of
Yes,
innocent interactions. If you say no to Michael, that doesn't always mean that it's the end of the subject for him. So yeah.
exactly. Michael's grabby. So, but it does happen where relationships are entertained. I just know that all the relationships I've ever seen, if even if a woman came and hit on me and she's like, oh, this and that, and then all of a sudden I'm going on vacation with her, taking trips with her, this and that. Yeah, me and Tisa. Hold on, let me go, Michael. Just me and Tisa, right? I know my boyfriend would be like, is that a fact now, right? Is that a fact, right? He better be like, is that a fact? Okay, so he better, instead of being like, great, I'll make the travel reservation. So listen, he might, let's not turn him into a G, right? Where he like have like G have
Mm.
Mia out in the club searching for something exotic. Ooh, which by the way, y'all, where are the Candace? Did y'all see Candace's tweets? Candace left no crumbs. Let me just read her tweets that she sent about this whole thing. She left nothing on the floor. Candace said, because I maintain that because I maintain that these up from nothing girls that didn't want to go back to the strip club are allowing exotic women into their marriage bed because they really don't have a choice. Don't argue with me. Then she tweeted that right after Mia was like, "Oh yeah, I just like exotic. I like unreal women. That's what I strip for, right?"
And Nikki asked her, have you had Becky's in your bedroom? I think I bust out laughing.
She
I
said,
said, she said Becky's. I said, no, she didn't. Thank God she didn't say Karen's. Um, you know what? She was shady. She was shady, and she gave me everything. And she's problematic. She's a problematic lady. She's controversial, but she asked some good questions. Yeah, and then also she was asking Robin, why did she need a validation from Giselle when it came to even asking, are we mad at Ashley? And Robin said, no, 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 I was just trying to figure out if the cast was mad at Ashley, and Nikki gave her the side eye, rightly so, because that's she's been asking approval from Giselle for over 6 years.
She has, but first of all, I want to say thank you so much, Reggie Gregg, for the super chat again. You said it's even more rare with black men. Black male sexuality tends to be different from other groups. Okay, I can believe that. I can't believe that. But then I'm not in the locker room with any men, so I'm like, y'all all trash as far as I'm concerned. I'm joking. So, so I'm joking. I'm joking, honestly. But that would make sense. To your point, right, Mel, I touched on this earlier, but I literally want to get your take. Do you think that that's her running after Giselle, or do you think that's her knowing that Giselle is producing scenes and she's locked and step with the producers, and Giselle's put her down the game, saying, "Listen, I know the way. Just follow behind me, and we gonna see this mountain together." And Robin's like, "All right, bet." And that's why she was like, when she says, "Are we mad?" She's asking, according to the script, are we
Mm.
supposed to be upset? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that at all, and I think that is very interesting. It could be true. So that means that Robin could be sleeping through the series, and basically she maybe if that's the truth, maybe that's why she relies and so respects Giselle so much because she basically can show up. Giselle, I remember. I'm not sure if you know this show. This show was one of my favorites. It was called The Gilmore Girls, and when Rory, the woman who played Rory, was there at the beginning, the mom would basically put her on every mark that she had to hit for the first couple of years. And she said that's why we kept holding each other, and the viewers sort of loved this. But I think that maybe that's what Giselle's doing for Robin, based on she's taking her and carrying her through all the series. If this sort of idea is true, and it might be true that maybe in the scene we call it really a rare moment of behind the scenes of, I mean, who we mad at? I'm
Yeah. She's
what's going on
literally
with the
helping her
storyline?
produce.
Yeah.
She's literally helping her produce scenes.
And she was very frustrated too with Wendy when she was confused with the storyline with everything was happening so fast at that little retreat they were at. So I think that was why she was very frustrated with Wendy, that she basically didn't have the one-on-ones and do all the things they normally do when it comes to storyline. So it could be true. Maybe she's frustrated this whole season that she felt lost. I mean, yeah, could be very true.
That actually could be true. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. Now I will say, right? I will say that I think that Nikki, so to this point, right? Um Nikki made a pass at Robin. Did you believe that pass? When she said, Robin, you looking good. And I saw that eyeshadow and I said, somebody please, note the South. I'm going to send Robin a makeup and mess. If you guys don't know, I talk mess and I do makeup sometimes. That eyeshadow blend was so bad. It looked like my first eyeshadow blend. It looked like, I mean, here's the thing. Robin's a gorgeous woman.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why her makeup artists never see her face. They're always doing makeup that will be good for somebody with different shaped eyes. It's just always like a little off. And I say that because Robin's, even though she has a whole glam squad, Robin's makeup always looks like a mom that works 3 jobs and is going to some function that she didn't want to go to, and she's doing her makeup in the car underneath like the 7-Eleven parking lot lights, and it's pitch dark. It just looks like, yeah,
Oh,
for
damn.
normal me and you. No, for normal me and you, Robin's makeup look good. But when you have a whole glam squad, how do you have a glam squad and that's what you get? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't
Mm-hmm.
you ever look at yourself? You ever hear that thing where you're like, and I'm not saying you're obviously very attractive, right? If you guys haven't seen Mel, Mel's a cutie, right? But you guys have heard that joke. You're not ugly. You're just broke, right? Because you see people where they start off and then when they get money, how much they go from maybe being like a 4, 5, 6 to being like a 9, 10, right? And have you ever looked at yourself and been like, damn, if I had money, I mean, like it was my job to look good. I wonder how good I would actually look. I mean, money where I'm like getting like caviar facials every day and all these treatments. And again, this is my issue with Robin. Robin, you look like us and you have a glam squad, so I'm just a little confused. But maybe that's just me because y'all know me with makeup. I'm just a little confused. So listen, rock and roll Dina said, you love Candace. Up from Nothing is a play of words from Booker T. Washington's autobiography called Up from Slavery. Candace is savage. Yo, I caught that too. Candace is savage. I caught that too. You beat me to it. But listen, shout out to Rock and Roll Diva for catching Candace's shade. And I think that's why they get so mad at Candace's shade, because Candace's shade has layers. Candace has said, okay, peons, I'm not going to call y'all slaves anymore, right? I'm going to reference a book about slaves.
Oh my gosh.
Even if you guys catch it. And nobody, well, Rock and Roll Diva did, but nobody on that show called it. Rock and Roll Diva, tweet Mia. She probably going to write like an Instagram post about it again. Oh, Candace also said the patriarchy is a lie. For you guys that are just joining that don't know what Candace tweeted, why Mia was talking about she got exotic girls, tens, beautiful women, which to me, I was like, this is so sad that Mia doesn't seem to be into it. Maybe this is just me and my thing. Maybe she's 100 like, yeah, party with Cardi, yeah. But she doesn't seem to be very much into it. And it's just sad that she's literally trying to boast now that she's getting the best of the best women. And I just can't believe, again, I don't want to speak on what anybody else's lifestyle is. I just can't believe that somebody would be happy seeing the person they love hugged up with someone else. A fling, maybe. But my husband, I have to wake up to you. Like, what is going? No, 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 no. And if somebody was, then why are you here, fool? Go away. Like, I don't know. So, so anyway, for what Candace said, she said, because I maintain that these up from nothing girls that didn't want to go back to the strip club are allowing exotic women into their marriage because they really don't have a choice. Don't argue with me. This is what Rock and Roll Dina is referring to, right? Listen, well, here's the thing, Nubian. I don't think that Mia chose G out of desperation. I don't. Listen, aside from him doing his tongue roll, G grew on me. Even, and Mel, did he grow on you? Even him being like a lovable drunk. It's like, all right, keep the Grey Goose away from him. But when he's not Grey Goosed up, he seems nice. He seems respectful. He seems like an old head. What about you, Mel? What do you think of G?
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, G, listen, he apologizes. I mean, I hate to say it, maybe G might even stand for G for being a gentleman in some way, because he is a gentleman to the woman. If he sees that he's crossed a line or something, he's not reactionary. He's old school, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what I was going to say? short of the tongue and the drunkenness and things like that, he reminds me of Ray. Now, I know people lose their mind, but because both Ray and them, so Ray he's pretty quiet when it comes to all the stuff that goes on between the ladies, and he doesn't get involved in it, stuff like that. And so G doesn't either, but he will interact with them and apologize if he feels like he's offended them some way. So yeah, he's just a good time man. He likes what he likes, and maybe he works very hard, and he does work very hard, very successful, and yeah, that's just what he's about.
Now, Reggie Greg Blanchard brings up a good point. I want to get your take on this. He said, my alarms go up when people say exotic like that. I think they're saying racially ambiguous and not dark skin, or maybe I'm looking into it too much. No, Reggie, you are not. Because when she said that too, I was like, exotic. I thought the same exact thing. I thought the same exact thing. Mel, what was your take on that? Did you get that? Because I've literally had people call me exotic. They were never. That's the funny thing about life, isn't it? Right? If you put me in front of course, you guys know I'm black, right? Well, all the black people in the chat know I'm black. I say that because when I'm around black people, they're like, "Of course that girl's black." Like, shut up. You don't see that edge control slicking down those edges. However, whenever well, it's not whenever, but the only times I've ever been called exotic or people been like, oh, you're mixed or like whatever, it's when I'm around people that aren't black. But I know what you're saying about that exotic thing because every time
Hmm.
someone's called me exotic, even though they meant it as a compliment, it was a backhanded compliment because that's the exact sentiment that they had behind it.
Well, I think that what you said, I mean, I would jump on piggyback what you were saying. I think that maybe that was sort of an acknowledgement that if a person was exotic, that they were not fully black in some way. That might be sort of that acknowledgement because it was this beautiful woman from Low Down Dirty Shame, which I think you remind me of too. It was this woman, it was Jada Pinkett Smith, another woman in that,
Yeah.
and they would call her, exotic in some ways. But I was going to say something a little blue. I was going to say, well, wait a minute. They say exotic. Don't tell me that they now saying that G is like the Red Fox of the 2021 because so back in the day it was a show called Sanford and Son. And Red Fox was the comedian on that show, but in his personal life, he was a wild man. He would put Mr. G to shame, and all he liked it was Asian women,
Oh,
and
really?
oh yeah. So you got to go. Ashley says so. That's why I learned it on her channel.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all he liked it. So yeah, maybe I mean it's just all weird. I mean, again, their relationship is interesting. It's interesting. He met her at the adult club, and then he's now even in a marriage state. But I think that Mia and Michael and them, they almost have similar situations. Again, G is night and day to Michael Darby, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just even as a gay man who has been married and divorced, whatever, I just don't know how I feel about these open marriages, especially with children inside of it. It just seems too toxic to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm traditional that way, but it just seemed a little extra to have these sort of wild sexual encounters, even when you're married. I don't understand it.
Listen, I I do
Oh,
not.
Red Fox, Mr. Frankie, Red Fox.
Oh, Red Fox.
You
And then
look him
is
up.
it whose channel was it on? Ashley Says. As she's
Ashley
a
says so. Yeah.
documentary on him.
Uh-huh.
So if you're interested, go to Ashley Says So's. But here's the thing. I will say that who said it? Dara said, you're doing a point. You're like, it's the European standard of beauty, meaning exotic, different than normal. Here's the thing, Dara. Have you guys spent much time in Europe? Because how can I say this? The things that we look at, mm, this is like such a big explanation, but let me try to boil it down to something very bite-sized because I don't want to derail my own life. There's something called erotic currency, right? Now follow me on this. You guys know I always talk about erotic currency. However, there's also something called colonization, right? There's colonization of empires, of assets, of this and that. What is happening and what has been happening since I think the late 1980s when rap music started becoming very popular, right? Not with the older generations where Christy Brinkley was the ideal or whoever was the big Farrah Fawcett, right? But in the late 1980s, it started with the incorporation of rap music. People have always looked to women of color in America, black women, but also indigenous, whatever, for their beauty, but it was never accepted mainstream wise because it was always like, ew, like dirty secret, right? the colonization of beauty is what's happening now, that we're calling features that are not Eurasian and are not Eurasian features. I'm not, but European, Caucasian features. We are now calling them European standard of beauty. What's happened is women that do not possess those features are literally getting surgery, marrying in or using makeup to possess features that 20 years ago were not the norm and they were not standards of beauty. Fuller lips, even our noses. Go to goddamn Europe and tell me how many people have noses like that. No, they're the ones getting the nose jobs. The fuller lips, the cheekbones, even the fox eye trend. So now, when we look at minorities and we say, oh, you're white passing, or if you're in America, oh, you look mixed. No, we don't. But the standard of beauty with plastic surgery is coming more and more and more into looking like a Black woman, looking like an Arab woman, looking like an Indian woman, looking like an Asian woman. They are literally colonizing our beauty because it is becoming the standard. And but anyway, let me stop writing a thesis on fourth wave feminism. That's enough of my thesis statement. But when people say it's a standard of European standard, you guys realize the European standard of beauty is colonizing what people actually look like. Go to the Arab countries, right? I'm sorry, the Middle East. You'll see a million girls that look just like Kim Kardashian naturally. Go to India, you'll see a bunch of girls that look like Kylie Jenner naturally. Go like again. Go to the hood in the US. You'll see a million girls that look like Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian and Khloe Kardashian when she has her self tanner on. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. There is no that European standard of beauty. They are literally brainwashing us into adapting our features and then telling us it's their features. None of them look like that. That's why when you go into any slum, ghetto, hood, anywhere in the world, you can find a billion girls that look like the models on the magazines. Go into like the White Hood and tell me how many of those people look like supermodels, because their norm of beauty does not exist in their community anymore. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox and get back. But no, the European standard of beauty is literally colonizing what minorities naturally look like. Okay, so let's go. Anyway, let's get back to fun stuff, right? Now, speaking of beauty, we're getting into Ray going in and saying that Giselle's losing her looks.
No. And then Nikki said that. So this is the funny part. So that made me laugh. So there's a lot of things that was crazy this episode. So many things. But she said, "Well, Giselle, you're a beautiful woman, ain't you? And you know it." She said, "Yes, I am. I do know it. But do you think your beauty's fading? I mean, because you look different from this season from the first season." I said, "Honey, hush." Honey hush. And then they even showed the videos and the footage. I said, baby, yeah, she definitely changed. Listen, she's still beautiful. To me, she's a beautiful lady no matter what. But she got her real good in that one. I said, oh, damn. She asked her if her beauty's fading within 6 years. I said, girl, wow.
Girl, listen, the funny thing is I had to laugh because Giselle gained COVID weight. We've all gained COVID weight. Giselle doesn't look different. You just got COVID weight on you. And Giselle's one of those women, when she gains weight, you know, some women gain it in I gain it in my hips first, right? Giselle gains it in her face. By the time my weight reaches my face, I've gone too far. I'm like 20 pounds overweight. I'm not there. By the time my weight reaches my face, it's like you have gone too far. Giselle's the other way around. It reaches her face and her arms first. So you see that. No, it does. So you see that extra 25 pounds a little bit more than if than if it was sitting on the belt. So, and the funny thing is when Nikki said that, Nikki's a smart woman. Nikki is her mind. She's a Saggy. She is that.
She is. Listen, that caught me off guard. I said, oh no, she did not go there. Oh wow. And then what did she say? She was saying that Giselle's jokes about age of other women was corny. She said under her breath. And then the girls were saying, well, Candace said, oh no, Karen, you look under 50. And both Nikki and Candace laugh at the same time, honey. I said, oh, shady moment, shady. Because they both know Karen don't look under 50. That was terrible. They both were being shady. Nikki and Candace were being shady for that one.
They were. And Nikki said, I mean, are you just going for a different look?
Mm,
So
that's
that
right.
was funny.
And
Then
Wendy was looking at her. Now Wendy, go ahead. She was being a little fresh too because she said, "I don't care if it's Nicki Minaj or whoever it is. I'm going to look at her cards." She was looking at the cards to see what the questions was. That was the newscaster coming out, Miss Wendy. She said, "Listen, this is my career. I want to know what this I want to know what this woman going to be asking me." So she in the little clip they show her look at the cards. I was like, she said, "I didn't see nobody questions. I didn't see nobody questions." I was like, come on."
mhm. Now, so Nubian Queen Nikki says, I think Giselle's aging gracefully. She didn't do the Botox that Karen did. Listen,
You don't
Giselle's
think
a gorgeous
so?
girl. She's aging beautifully. Giselle still, I mean, listen, if you guys think that I'm telling you that like Giselle is looking like old man Winter's wife, no, right? So he's not, hold on, guys, my light just went out.
Oh,
Okay,
well, was it FN phenomenal? That's my mama's word. You know, she is
okay.
from North Carolina, so we believe in the honey hush, honey. Yes, we do.
No, so
I
listen, that
Yeah,
was
we
God
love
being
it.
like, shut your mouth. You about to get a strike on your YouTube channel.
But whenever, oh yeah, but whenever we get funny, and something comes up that we don't believe, we go honey hush, honey. I
Mhm.
mean, really, listen.
Listen, I think Giselle is aging beautifully, and I don't even think she's aging. I think she still looks beautiful.
Hmm.
If you guys think I'm an ageist or something like that, you got me wrong because I'm gonna be 80 years old, dressing age inappropriately, probably dropping and popping
He
it.
said, no,
Right?
he
Please
said
don't
ages, no way in the world. The biggest ages on Bravo is Giselle. So it's funny that
worry.
people, come on.
No, so this is my point, Mel. To your point, we are dragging Giselle because, to Mel's point, Giselle's the biggest ages on there. Giselle's
Mhm.
5 years younger than Karen, acting like they got 50 years between them, and
Come on
Karen's
now.
102 and she's 20 years old.
Right.
Giselle delights in like, I'm the prettiest girl in the room. If you have that energy of I hold all this power in my looks, I'm sorry, y'all. You got to make sure your looks are on point. That's like me having an energy that I'm the smartest person in the room and haven't read a book since 1983. If you are walk talking it, you gotta walk it too. And
That's
Giselle,
right.
yeah, and Giselle was not judging people. When Giselle sees people, she sizes them up about like, where do you fall in attractiveness? Oh, I'm still the prettiest. If you have that energy, you got to be the best,
That's
or
that
people
head.
will drag you.
That's that head sorority sister in her that's never gonna go nowhere. She always sides people up. She always hazing them, and that's just what it is. But you're right. So it's also the saying too. If you're gonna clock somebody for their clothes, huh, you better be coming in the door with some Versace. You can't come in with some J.C. Penney's or something. So
Exactly,
listen.
exactly. Looking like J.C. Penney's, right? Because J.C.
Mhm.
Penney's be having some bop sometimes, but when you come in looking like,
Yeah, like you looking like you paid 19.99. That's what you paid for. Come on now, no, no, no. Yeah. Most of the time, she look like she paying 9.99 for her clothes, and the makeup look like it's about $5. So she need to stop with all those age digs. And like Nikki said, it was corny. So it is what it is.
exactly. And again, so we're dragging Giselle because Giselle, like you said, Mel sums it up. Giselle made the standard. Giselle made the standard. So
We
it's like,
did.
all right. So if you
We
talk about you're the best, where's the Versace? Right? Why you got on Vernace? Where's the Versace? You've been
hmm
so listen, I like the way that Nikki ran it down when she's like, well, Nikki, what else? What did Nikki say? Well, Karen, what else are you supposed to say? You got a better marriage, you got a better face, you got a better body. When all that's on point, all they can do is say about the age. And I
That's
was
right.
there, and Giselle was like, so then Candace kept jumping in, and
Yeah,
Giselle
oh
was like,
yeah.
let her talk, let her
Yeah.
talk. Do you know what I think's going on, Mel?
Come on. Yeah.
The way that they chopped this up and the way the reunion was so highly edited, it makes me think, were they chopping it up so that Candace looked like she was being annoying jumping in so they could be like, oh, Candace is so annoying and keep it going? Because from what I see on Twitter, from what Karen said, and even from Candace saying, I just can't stand somebody being dragged, I have to jump in, it makes me think that like Nikki was in the middle of having Giselle on the ropes, but Giselle knew the game, because that's why she told Candace, it's cool, I got it. Because Giselle knew the game, that the producers were going to edit it for her benefit. Last year, she might not have known. That's why she was sitting there stuck looking like she was about to cry. And her face was balled up, but she couldn't do anything but just sit there. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, for me, I just forgot about that part. So for me, the whole 4 episodes, all Giselle did was try to shut up Candace, was telling whenever somebody made a dig at her, she enjoyed it. Whatever somebody said she was wrong, she agreed with it. Like, okay, listen. And so I didn't understand how Candace was even civil with her at the end of the reunion.
Mhm.
Um, you know, yeah, it was crazy to me. It was crazy. Again, was I disgusted by it? Not really. It wasn't disgusting me, but it was definitely something I noticed that Giselle, you know, she was every time anything negative happened in Candace's direction, she enjoyed it, or she sort of was, you know, come on, yeah, it was crazy.
She enjoyed it. Now, I just want to say, Regulus Ahaya Beth Cole Garden of Eden said, thanking God I didn't gain weight during COVID. I was a very disciplined eater, and I also worked out at my own place.
But she need to tweet Giselle and give us some lessons.
Girl, you were the only one. I gained weight, and I'm still talking to them. Look what I have after the live. So
Oh no, you don't got no Twinkies. You better
I've been
mail me
drinking
one,
my Slurpees and my Dunkin'.
girl.
I got the coffee for the cookies.
Uh-uh. You better be
Somebody
missing.
pray for my waistline, y'all. Let's make sure, right?
Well, listen, it's the winter time up in I guess in the East Coast, whatever. We hide under, you know, cold and snow, so I know we ain't worried about nothing until March. We got a
Girl,
couple more months.
listen, Mel, I was a big cozy teddy bear all summer. I said, oh well, let's just hope. Let's just hope. I know. I was hoping winter will make me good because y'all know how it is. When when you have extra weight on you in the summer, it looks sexy for some reason. You're filling out the leggings, you can put the tank top on. In the wintertime, when you gotta wear 4 layers, that's when it's just like big bear, you know? So we'll see. Pray for me.
I love hiding in the winter time. So in summertime, I'm like, but I'm like you. Listen, I had some cheesecake, some peaches. I mean,
Mm,
I had a couple of things too that wasn't, you know, health conscious.
yummy. Listen, cheesecake with peaches sounds good, good, good. Okay, so Karen has had a lot of plastic surgery. Karen, but oh well, listen, if a woman wants to have plastic surgery, I'm like, it's your body. Do what you want. Just don't do it because somebody else told you to. If you are
Hmm.
truly into having other people in your bed, be happy. But don't do it because you're trying to please somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
if it's your choice, it's your choice. Just I don't like anything, man, woman, anything, being forced to do something that they don't want to do just because they are trying to please other people that at the end of the day aren't even going to care, you know?
that's true. I liked it this part too when she was asking Karen. She said, "Karen, look like you and Ray are really in love this year. You got him to admit he loved you this season." I said, "Oh no, she didn't say that." That made me laugh. But then she said to Giselle, she said, "Now listen, Karen got you together in the first episode. She said you were this from Hampton and you had this hot boxing. So now, Giselle, did you learn your lesson? Will you be thinking twice before you come for Karen?" And Giselle said, "No." No, I listen. We're gonna do what we do, but she said on her birth, she said, "Yeah, right. You gonna be thinking twice because that lady gonna get you together." She basically was saying that Karen dragged her, and she did.
Yo, I completely agree with you. Reggie Greg Bunchard, thank you so much for the super chat. You said I'm jealous. I can get to 200 and something, then always go God smack about to 187 to 185. LOL, but it's different for me. I guess. That is my dream. Sometimes I'd be shoving Twinkies in my mouth and I'd be like, I wonder if I would still eat so bad if healthy food was bad for you and bad food was good for you. Would I be like, oh, I'm sick of eating these Twinkies and Chips Ahoy? You know what I want? I want a salad with no dressing. Good. Listen, Reggie, good for you. Your jeans are phenomenal. Good for you. I did read this thing about how mask, I'm not going to talk, let me not get a strike on my thing, but how mask, we should all be wearing them. That's what I'm going to say. But you know that when
Mm,
you process fat, most of your fat comes out in the carbon monoxide in the way that when your body metabolizes fat, it breaks up the fat. It breaks it up. It takes the oil out, the lipids, it takes the hormones out, and then it takes the water. So fat molecule is not just fat. It holds water because you didn't realize it, but the more fat you have, you're basically holding on. Your body has a refrigerator, right? So instead of eating leftovers, right? I keep ordering takeout and adding more calories to my body where my body's already has like leftovers in the fridge. So when your body breaks down fat, it takes the water out, it takes the lipids, it takes the hormones out. Okay, fine. But when it does that, your body also expels it out from what in the CO2. So it keeps the water, it keeps the hormones, it keeps what it needs, and everything else gets expelled out through your breathing. So, I mean, you can Google it if you want. Most of your fat burning happens while you're sleeping or while you're walking, but you have to be breathing, of course, right? So there's been studies about how when you have a barrier, does that work with your body being able to metabolize fat effectively and also slowing down because your exhaust system is not jammed, but it's a little slowed down. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well,
let's
I
talk
agree. You know what? I was going to say too, not to go to all health conscious. You know, I can go there for 3 hours. I was going
about
to say one thing I'm interested in the new year, just for my own reasoning, is finding a sauna, infrared sauna, because that's supposed to be very good for toning and also for getting out impurities. And I know a lot of people are sort of swearing by that currently with these sort of issues we all having. That they swearing by the infrared sauna is good for detoxing and also good for toning. So I'm interested in trying that next year.
I'm interested in trying that too, but I wonder, hey, female rap, thank you. I'm sorry, female rap elite says I do intermittent fasting and that helps so much. I actually do intermittent fasting too, but I was just raised by wolves. So we eat one meal a day, seriously, right? When we were younger, it's because we had to. And now it's just like in my thing. But I think that's actually what keeps me from really going out of control. I have heard of the
Mm.
infrared sauna. And
Mhm.
so funny you say that. A place we were looking at actually had one. We ended up going with a different place, but the first place we looked at had an infrared sauna in the bathroom. The bathroom was like the size of a whole room, right? It doesn't matter. The point is, we are like, why would we ever use that? And we ended up going to a place that had a better location, but the bathroom wasn't as grand.
Mm.
So
Okay.
Karen and Ray. Karen says she hustled, right? Karen said, let me know if you try the infrared shot because I'll be right behind you. Karen said that she hustled, and that's how she got Ray to say, I love you again. Karen is patriarchy 101. Now, you know, I love the Grand Dame, and you guys know that I love Karen. I mean, I like all the cast members. They all have their BS, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, whatever, right? Um, Patriarchy 101. Karen is so old school. She's proud of the fact that this man that you got her into tax debt, she paid the tax bill, formed a business. She's still paying off your debts. She's the breadwinner of the family. You got mad. She had to chase after you, looking behind you to get you. And you said, I don't know if I love her. And then she had to literally go on this campaign to make you love her again. And Karen's looking at that like that's an accomplishment. Now, I'm glad they're still together. That's what Karen wanted. Karen is an incredibly ambitious and determined woman. You saw the way she made Grand Dame. It already is an empire, but it's on its way to becoming like a multi hyphenated corporation, right? You also see the fact that when she put that ambition and focus on Ray, she got her man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And Mel, I want to know, do you think that's an antiquated way of thinking? Like, is it that much of an accomplishment that you have to put this much work in to some man that you're paying his bills to say, I love you? And this would be whether it was reversed.
Mm.
If a man was chasing after a woman, paying the bills, doing this, and doing this, and she's just like, I don't know if I love you. I'd be like, why are you doing this? Leave them for someone that truly appreciates you. But what do you think of that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that deeply what I feel. I would say that I find it unbalanced, but I find it more balanced than Ashley and Mia's marriages. I feel like for me, it's old fashioned. And she answered a question I want to get to too because it's very funny. She answered a question and said when she saw him, her soul opened up. I've known friends who've had experience where it's just who it is, and they will do whatever they can, and maybe they're more deeper. I think that at one point he did say that she spent a lot of money when she wasn't earning money, and maybe this was, let me tell you this. Maybe you've had this kind of relationships. I've had one like this, and people have said this, where you've been with a professional who you were supporting in a way. The person was going to school, becoming a doctor, whatever they were doing, and then now it's your turn to go out and do things. So I think that some relationships have that where one person is supporting and really to be, doing their thing. And then when they retire, the other person gets out there and do it. So I think that maybe that's what it is, especially if it's love and deep love. You really don't count them.
Love. You're doing all this stuff, and this person that says that he doesn't even know if he likes you.
Yeah, I don't know. I
That was
think
my
that,
point. Listen, hold your man or woman down. That's different. Everybody's relationship is different. If somebody was down for me, of course I would be down for them, right?
yeah, I,
Of course, right? One of us can pay the bills. We're going to eat somehow, especially if they've really been there for me. But I'm doing this, and you're like, and I'm like, hey, babe, do you love me? And they're like, I don't know. Boy, bye, bye, bye.
I don't. You know what? For me, you're right. I love their relationship, and I'm happy it worked out. It may not be my cup of tea, but it works for them. And I
Mm,
think that most of the people on the show have these sort of very, different kind of relationships. And of all the ones that I actually can actually stomach is the Ray and Karen's relationship. But I want to say this too. This is the funny part. When just the question I remember last week, when this is the point in the show that I was looking forward to very much so. She asked a big question. She said, "Okay, ladies, Karen, Mia, Ashley, I want to ask you this question. You got $100 million. Um, you have a choice to just sort of be by yourself, be with these men that you marry. Will you marry them?" Now, of course, Karen said, "Oh, no, no, no. This is my soulmate." It was Ashley. This was the part of Ashley I actually respect. She said, and I was shocked. I'm glad they saved it. That she would not have picked Michael if she had $100 million. I was like, okay.
wait, what? She said that?
She said it. And Nicki Minaj asked Mia, Ashley, Karen if they had $100 million, but they chose the husbands they chose, and it was Ashley who said no.
Oh, I thought Ashley said she would.
No, no, no. Ashley said if she had $100 million when she first met Michael, she wouldn't have chosen him.
Well, I listen. Ashley shit. When she said she was 22 when she met Michael, that actually made me sad for her. Any woman I see get with a much older man before they are fully formed as a woman. And again, I have my issues with Ashley, which she shows me on TV, but I don't care how crafty Ashley is. At the end of the day, you're a 22-year-old and you're not that crafty. I don't care. I know everybody with a 22 thinks they're the smartest thing going. I know people be like, oh, she was crafty. You were 22 years old. You just thought you were crafty. When I see that, I automatically see, like, yeah, there's some idols. And this is why people get young kids, men and women get younger people because they idolize them. You can raise them to be what you want. You can talk to them the way you want, and they're more likely to stay because they don't even know that you're talking to them crazy. They don't even know that you're treating them crazy. They don't even know what to expect because you literally are teaching them what it's like to be in love and what it's like to be in a relationship. Do you know what I'm saying? If everybody you meet is slapping you at a certain point, you're like, wait, so is this normal for like somebody to slap me in the face when they don't like what I'm saying? Just like if everybody treats you like a queen, when you go with someone that tries to treat you regular, you're like, oh, the ghetto. I don't like it here. I'm gonna leave. I don't like you. Right? So Ashley, yeah. But then Ashley said, I love Michael because he's so dynamic. He's
And
this,
he's cute.
that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Ashley's answer, I had to giggle because it really, really reminded me that you've said this answer to Michael before. I don't know why.
That's right.
But she said it. I'm like,
Because Michael would be like, "Baby, would you have married me if I didn't have all this money?" Yes, honey. Of course I would have.
you're
Of
dynamic.
course.
You're dynamic. You're full of energy. Oh my God, you're the funniest person. Remember that scene with Ashley, where she was feeding Michael whipped cream and strawberries?
I don't want to remember that scene. Oh my God. No. I think I'm going to throw up. Wow.
And then Ashley, and I said, Ashley, go ahead and run your game. You're working for that check. She literally looked at him, ran her finger along his shirt,
Ooh. Whoa.
moved his face toward her, and then looked at her with no irony and said, "You're beautiful. You know that?" And then kissed him. And I said, Ashley just won an Academy Award for that.
She sure enough did. She
I
won the
could get,
Peabody, the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, that shoot, she was selling that thing, honey.
listen, she had Michael blindfolded. I'd have been like, hold on, let me just put this on. Okay. I'll put the blindfold on and be like, you're beautiful.
That's right.
Michael,
Cover my eyes.
listen, Michael lucked out with Ashley. And I don't care what y'all say, he lucked out because you got a beauty queen. She, I don't know if she wants to do it or she's into it, but she likes to have fun. She likes to bring other women to the bed. So you
She's
literally
fluid.
feel like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you literally feel like you're the king thing. It seems like she's faithful to you. And she seems like she's working on the relationship enough. Michael hit the jackpot and she's not in his pockets. Michael hit the jackpot with Ashley. I would never be with Michael. But if my family was being held hostage and I had to become his bride, I would be running through his pockets, just anything. Literally, literally, literally. It's like you. And here's the thing: it's not. It's also the way Michael treats Ashley. Michael talks to Ashley and treats Ashley the way Ashley treats the rest of the girls. It's like a trickle down effect.
Yeah.
Like Michael be talking to her dirty, be doing all this stuff. It's like, what is the value? Like I'm shopping at Macy's, like I could have did if I just gotten an office job. I got these two, but I guess the two kids. I don't know. I don't know Ashley's
You're
motivation.
right. I was gonna say to Queen Dara, I agree with you. But have you anybody ever seen this picture called Night Manager? Michael always give me that character, the main character in that picture, Night Manager, because he was a very powerful man who was international. He had his woman, but he was not very nice. So if you want to look up that picture,
I got
Night
something.
Manager.
You guys, let me shut up. Michael is not that wealthy, y'all. Michael is rich. There's a lot of rich men around. Michael is not well. How much is Michael worth? 80 million? 100 million?
Is he really? Oh my gosh, maybe he's looking
Maybe.
even more attractive. Oh my god.
Listen, no, this is, but here's the thing. When someone owns real estate, that 80 million, 100 million, maybe 20 million is liquid. I'm not saying, look, listen, I'm not saying Michael doesn't have any money. I'm just saying the level of money Michael has, he is not in the 1%. If you are messing with men in the one or women in the 1%, that is rarefied air. You know how Jay-Z says, who you going to toll? We at the top of the totem pole. Who? Who are you going to go? Where are you going to go? It's only up. These are questions that like the top 1% would ask. Michael's not in the top 1%. He's not. Ashley was a former Miss DC. Do you understand the dating pool that pageant girls have that win the title? Do you understand? And you're not just competing with men in the DC area, international men. It's like being a model. You just don't understand the pool of men that Ashley had access to. So for you to be like, oh, Michael has money, he's very wealthy and connected. Ashley had access to a lot of very well connected and wealthy men and their sons that were age appropriate. That's why it's interesting that she chose and pursued Michael because she could have put all the energy into somebody that's more age appropriate. But that's where I think her daddy issues come in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
it's
know what?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. But I was going to say too, another funny moment too for me was because they I think they went to Wendy again, and she said, Wendy, I love you and I respect you on the news, but how did you go from the news to selling candles? And the way she said it made me laugh so funny that moment. And also now you're the one who on you Miss T said you be on YouTube and you know about all the T's, the D, da, da, da. So I didn't think about this, but I heard about it. Is it true? Did Eddie really was he really following
No,
Mom? Okay.
no, he
And he
was.
didn't. So is it true that he unfollowed people when the show started this year? Or no, that wasn't true.
You know what? That part I don't know if he unfollowed people because I've had people send me screenshots, but I don't trust screenshots because
Come on now.
not like that. Like if somebody releases their own screenshots, but even then, you know what I'm saying? To say
Uh-huh.
I searched Eddie's name and all these people were unfollowed, but I would only take it if it came from a legitimate site. There are sites that automatically monitor everybody's social media and they give you reports if people follow and unfollow people, right? So if we got this report from one of those sites that people sign up for, yeah, like a lot of drama pages and tea pages, they'll literally have that on their site if that makes any sense, right?
Okay.
And
All
that's
right.
how they find out, oh, somebody unfollowed somebody did this. They literally monitor stuff. So if it came from a legitimate source, but this didn't come, this came from somebody like a random person, and I know the source, not personally, but I know the source that started those screenshots, and I'm just like, this is not, I'm
Okay.
not, I'm not reporting on this because I think this is bullshit, you know? It's like
Yep.
you weren't monitoring his shit on your own. You cannot tell me that because anyway, but
Okay. Okay.
I do want to say that um with Wendy and Eddie, right? Um, I don't understand why the women are like, oh, she controls her husband. Eddie is very respectful,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Eddie respects Wendy. And I would hope that everybody's getting that type of respect back from their husband. If you think it's acceptable for your husband to be like, yo, don't do that, or oh, this and that, then why can't the wife talk to the husband too? Eddie does not need to submit. Listen, some men need a submissive wife, right? I'm the man, you submit. Other men are like, it's cool. You ain't got to act like, stop. I saw my mom do that. You ain't got to do that. Like, come on, talk to me. Like, what are you doing? Get off your knees. What are you doing? You know? So I think Eddie's one of those men where he is mature enough that he doesn't need somebody to submit to him in that way. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. You know what I was gonna say too, because again, I'm talking to you, so that's gonna make this little comparison. So Eddie gives me, yeah, I agree, Miss April T. Eddie's professional. Eddie gives me the Eddie is serving the good version of the wonderful African nation on Bravo, because he's the good version. Of course, we know who, is the other crazier version on Bravo. So he's definitely serving that.
Simon
Um,
Obadia, you guys catch my
that's
catch
right. Come on
my
now.
recap at 12:30 p.m. Monday, November 29th. It's gonna be me, Grace, Up and Adam, and Layla, and we're going to recap. And then I'm gonna be breaking shit down all week because that episode was full of nothing but
It
lies.
was good. I
If
mean, listen, I
Portia
saw it
gets
too.
away, yeah, you saw it. Portia gets away with this shit. She will officially be she will be Kaiser Sosa of the usual suspects.
She so she so basically she'll be limping through the whole process, and then she'll start walking at the end of the picture, right?
Literally, if she can literally pull her image out the gutter with all these obvious lies, she'll be.
But
I will literally be like,
but she
all
tricked.
right.
But so she tricked me tonight. I started falling in love with her again tonight. I'm joking.
I was like, really? I was about to do an exit poll. So, what is it
Yeah.
exactly that you liked? Tell me more.
Mhm.
Literally, if
Well,
somebody's falling for
yeah.
that, we won't drag you, Mel. I'm not going to drag you. I really genuinely want to know what about that you were like, oh, okay. Like, I want people to do exit surveys. Like, what about that was good? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie is definitely the good version. But yeah, yeah, did Bravo tonight in general. So I would say the thing about Nikki. Um, as viewers, we always complain, oh my gosh, why they keep saying we have 3 episodes of nothing. In one episode, she didn't even stick to the season. She went all around the world, all around the seasons, and we got more juice. Well, we got more entertainment from her asking these questions about other things instead of just, these rumors. And that was what Andy was supposed to do. He sort of sits there and focuses on one thing, and we got more entertainment with her in one episode than we got all these other 3 episodes. That was one thing. Yeah, I think so.
Now, I have a question. Let's talk about Mia really quick, right? Mia asked Nikki, "How you know I'm not worth 100 million?" And Nikki's
Mm,
like, "Girl, because I know you're not." Shut up, Mia. Do you hear yourself? And but 100 million before you met G and everybody's like, if you had $100 million, why would you be stripping? And Mia was trying to find a way to make a lie, saying that she is stripped for fun and not for the money, but she couldn't even wrap her mind around that, right?
that's right.
She said that you know she was an entertainer, not a stripper, because they sold steak and lobster.
And
um
that chicken wings.
yes, which is weird because every strip club in every town I've lived in has been known for how good the food is. I remember even people, oh, but you gotta go, the food's so good. And I'm like, is the food good in a strip club? Because people would go and even get takeout from the strip club because the kitchen was supposed to be so good.
Wow.
I know. Listen, you
Mm.
guys, is strip club kitchens are supposed to be really, really good food? I
So
still
you,
wasn't going, but I
wow. So that means that people get to see a pair of breasts and also get a pair of breasts to go home and what the heck?
listen, but they serve steak and lobster too, also, and
Mm,
whatever else, right? Now, when they
wow.
said, Mia, why are you so concerned with women's husbands being attracted to you? Now, here's the thing: Wendy saw Eddie write no answer, like and not applicable, and Wendy said that looked like Mia. You better change that. Now, maybe that was Wendy being insecure, but it did look like he was writing Mia. You think you know your spouse, and I understand about let your spouse do what they're going to do. But if I thought my man was about to embarrass me, I would really be on some wrong way, wrong way. And if I'm wrong, we'll talk about it later. But I wouldn't just sit there and let you embarrass me. But I don't think people are used to a relationship where a woman seeing it on TV. I know in real life we see them, but I don't think people are used to a housewife show, a relationship where a woman has an equal voice to her husband. And Eddie's and Wendy's relationship are one of the most egalitarian relationships I've seen on Bravo. Meaning, Eddie did not make Wendy, Wendy did not make Eddie. They grew together, right? If
Mm-hmm.
Eddie leaves Wendy tomorrow, the lights will be on. She'll still be at Trader Joe's, and the kids will still be in private school. They're together not for financial reasons. Financial reasons did not motivate them. And Eddie is also seems to be like a new school type of guy, where there's a lot of guys like that. I don't know how Eddie is, but there's a lot of guys under 40 now that are that new school where they don't need to dominate their woman. You know what I'm saying? What
Right.
do you think? That's just like simple respect? Would you sit there if you thought your partner was about to embarrass you? Would you just sit there and be like, "Well, I just got to let a man be a man," or would you be like, "No, what, like wrong way"? You know?
Hmm. Well, um, I'm weird. I probably would just let them do what they want to do. I probably would. I mean, I just don't. I don't know. I'm weird in that way. I don't really. I don't know. I don't really get into jealousy or even the notion of disrespect. I can see them disrespect. They can be embarrassing themselves, but it's hard to embarrass me, especially about other people's behavior or choices, whatever. So that would be my thing. But listen, I don't judge her for whatever how she was in that moment. Especially for we. I think too. So you've said this too. This was interesting. If a person is addicted to, you said erotic currency, this idea that most men have to, in her case, look at her, desire her, or whatever. And maybe a woman could be intuitive enough to say, hey, I know what she's about. No, 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 you're not going to she's not going to get a high, or, she's not going to get a little bit of a buzz from my man, even if I'm not threatened by her. And I
Yeah.
can be okay with that. Because that goes into the vampire territory when people sort of vampire and they sort of absorb other people's energy based on their own insecurities. So yeah, I'm down for not letting people absorb your energy to get off on it in some way. So that I'm definitely down for that. And I think that's what she did. She was like, I know what she's about, and she's not going to get a win at my expense or whatever. So I'm
No,
okay with
I
that.
agree. And you know what? I'm looking at the comments. Macy says that Eddie and Wendy are equally yoked, so it's jarring to others to see a wife be able to command respect. I actually think that's exactly what it is, Macy. That is exactly what it is. It's jarring to see a man and woman equally yoked on Bravo reality TV. In reality TV, we see it all the time. We see it all the time. But I agree with you completely. You know, what about when Mia said that she's a sex symbol? Well, she's like, yes, I mean, I'm known to be a sex symbol because she was saying that. And this is the part I think is weird about Mia, but I think this is where Mia's power comes from. She trades in erotic currency, but a different type than Portia Williams does, but she still trades in erotic currency. She said that she's a sex symbol. G doesn't care. And who said, was it Wendy that said, who said, but your husband got you pulling down girls and sleeping, blah, blah, blah. So of course he don't give a damn. He's just trying to get you to pull other girls into the room, right? I forget who said that. It was either Candace or Wendy.
I think it
They
was Wendy probably.
Yeah, Wendy was like, of course your husband don't care. Of course your husband don't care. He got you pulling people in, doing this, doing that. Of course he doesn't care. Y'all, that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. Now I will see, listen, it's weird the way Mia, and this is the one thing about Mia that I'm like, honey, you're gonna have to tighten up. It's weird the way Mia talks about her past, right? Then says everybody respects my past, but then she tries to take shots at women for doing what she did, right? It's weird. It's like, again, if you're going to slut shame someone, I would imagine that you have the moral high ground. But it's weird to me that you're out here talking and pointing fingers when, girl, you were doing 10 times worse, Just do it. I don't know. I thought that was weird. The booty models and the screenshots, I don't know. Wendy being controlling, I don't find her controlling. I don't know. And it's odd to me that Nikki even broached that subject because Nikki looks like she's worn the pants in all of her relationships. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but in public, they're always Nikki's part one. Nikki is the one that's running shots. Nikki is the one that's calling the shots. Her husbands occupy the traditional Nikki's the yin and they're the yang, or is it the other way around? So, like, what did you guys think about Nikki actually like talking about Wendy for being controlling when it's like, Nikki, you seem to control and be the dominant masculine energy in all of her relationships from Safari, the ones we knew about and the ones we don't. Even with Meek Mill, Safari, and her new husband. What do y'all think?
Well, I think that she was asking for that projector for a reason. I mean, at one point in the episode, she was like, "Candace, can you go behind the scenes and get that projector that she was having on me?" I think that if she did, she would have used it on herself because a lot of the issues with. So when she was talking about booty models and some other things, I'm thinking, "Girl, you are a booty model." I mean, that's listen. Look at your body. Look at your figure. Yeah. So it's almost like everything that she notices in herself that triggers her that she sort of notices. She sort of knows other people. We call it the shadow. You notice other people's energy. You notice that kind of. You notice in other people the things that sort of that triggers you in some way. So or whatever. Yeah. So she was talking to herself basically. She was asking the questions for herself, and that's also listen. She was good at. I enjoyed it, but that's also a skill of not really being a good interviewer because when you ask questions that you want answers for, you're not really engaging with the person themselves. You're only asking. You're basically talking to yourself. Basically, you're only asking the same question that you want answers for yourself about. So yeah, it was coincidental that a lot of things she was asking was interesting. But I will say at one point I thought it was going to be a little more crazier with Candace. I know we didn't get to that part yet, but it was when I saw it, it was like she was really. I couldn't sleep on her. She is a woman in the industry for over 10 years, or whatever years. She knows the music industry. So when she was saying, "How many units did you sell? And what chart are you on? Are you on the R&B chart? Are you on the hip hop chart? What chart? What chart? What chart?" And I was like, "Wow!" I mean, it was
Well,
surprising.
that's really unfair for a self-published person too. And the thing is,
Right.
how many streams, Nikki, you know the way the record album thing is. Nobody downloads full albums anymore. But I will say, for Candace to be a self-published, what did she have? 20,000 or was it
20,000.
to
Full
have
album.
20,000 full albums? This is before Candace blew up, right? Self-independent, that was actually really amazing. And Nikki was looking for something to talk trash about, but she couldn't. She couldn't. She was just like, and you did that? You did 20,000? And she was like, yeah. And she's like, all right, anyway, moving on. It wasn't enough. Granted, it wasn't like, wow, but it was definitely a really, really respectable number. And that's why Nikki moved on because she wanted her to say something like, oh, I sold 50, like, 5,000, right?
Yeah, and Candace being smart as she is, she knows, and maybe you know too, because I mean you know a lot about the industry. That the music industry, those deals that the artists make with the companies is pretty crazy. So the fact that you, like you said, she's self-published, and she's an independent artist, to do this alone is you get a bigger percentage, if I'm not mistaken,
You
of the
do.
work you do compared to being a Nikki or whoever. Yeah,
And,
so
and also, I just want to point out too the fact that she was self published. It's not self published, but self finance. I forget what the record industry is, but we'll just call it self published.
hmm
Not only does she get a bigger portion, but the one thing why Nikki had to be like, oh, and you finance it yourself. That's why she had to know that is because a lot of record labels, those numbers about downloading albums, they buy them themselves, right? To
right.
push the numbers up, to push the project up. Drake's never going to come out to, I'm not saying Drake needs it, but he's never going to come out to only selling 50,000 albums because your record company, just like Justin Bieber, just like Takashi 69, just like all that, they bought their streams and they bought their album downloads too. Selena Gomez's last album, it happens all the time. So for Candace to get that, it's literally the equivalent what happens on Instagram where we look at famous people and we're just like, oh my God, they got like 5 million followers, but we don't know that literally 4 million of those followers are fake or very sophisticated. And yeah, you might have a million followers, but again, it's the same thing. You're buying followers, you're buying likes, you're doing this, you're doing that to pump up the volume. So Nikki had to respect that. I thought it was odd that Nikki was trying to get Candace to sing on the spot because for me, I know she's a new artist. I know she has to do that. But like Chris said in his tweet, I did a video about that. Go watch that. They've been yelling like all day. It was 10 o'clock at night. She wasn't ready, but she's an artist and she did really well. I always thought
Yes,
Candace
she did.
now. Chris came out and I really like Chris and Candace, and I really like Chris, right? Well, cool cat, you made a good point before we move on. Before I do this, Kale Cat said Wendy was the only one out of order, dropping it low for someone's husband. She's dollars popping, but you know what, cool cat, you're right about that. Wendy was dead wrong about that. I forgot that she did that. Wendy was dead wrong about that. And if I was Mia, I would have been like, if you don't get your ass up, like, what are you doing? Like, just like,
But
I,
Wendy's extra. She is extra. That is just who she is. She's extra. And her whole, for the most part, that's yeah.
she's extra, but that was disrespectful of Wendy. And I think Wendy did that on purpose. And I think that it confused Mia because in Mia's mind, I feel like G feels perfectly comfortable leering at other people.
Mm-hmm.
And in Mia's mind, I feel like she feels like a woman that looks like Wendy, she don't got to worry about. And I think it really bothered her that G was responding to it because it's like all of a sudden finding out your man likes A, B, and C, and you're just like, God damn, I was only looking out for A and B. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like uh Mia's so insecure about stuff like that. I could see her sizing up other women and only thinking she has to worry. I think that's one of the reasons Wendy dropping it low, besides it being disrespectful. But I think that's another reason why Wendy kind of irks her. Wendy is who Mia would like to be. And by that, the Wendy now, nice body, fun, twerking, but also super educated, also super well respected. I do feel like Wendy is who Mia would like to be. If Mia had a choice, she could wave her magic wand and actually have Wendy's accolades. But again, that's just me. Maybe I'm reaching. Y'all let me know in the comments. Okay, but so they sang. Candace did a great job. They took a break. Chris comes walking on the stage. I love Candace. I love Chris. I think they're a great couple. My honest opinion, Chris seemed a bit inebriated, right? And when he walked up to Candace, Candace was like, no, trying to calm him down, like, no, 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 like, it's cool. I'm not mad. Don't be angry. And he might have been angry for some reason I don't know about. Maybe they said, we're not talking about this. Maybe, again, I said this in a thing. Her singing maybe could have sabotaged future deals. Maybe could have turned her into a laughing stock. I don't know. Candace is going to be on Good Morning America tomorrow or sometime this week. So shout out to Candace Diller. She's doing her thing.
And she was on live. She was on live stream tonight, and she talked about that moment specifically.
Oh, what
Yeah,
did she
she
say?
said
Tell us.
she said that there wasn't this big it wasn't a big controversy, and that she paused for that moment not because she couldn't sing, it's because she was telling producers in that moment that she wanted to sing her new single. So she knew that her new singles were coming out and the new music was coming out, and she didn't want to sing Drive Back. She wanted to sing something else. So that was actually a big conversation they were having at the moment. So she let the audience know on her Instagram, maybe about 2 hours ago, whatever, she was having a live, and she was reading in there too. Somebody came in there. She told the people, go wash your bed sheets or something. She was telling the people, and everybody was having a moment. But she basically said that she wasn't upset about her acting. She wasn't upset Nikki asked her to sing. She was more having a conversation with the producers because she didn't want to do Drive Back. She wanted to do something that was about to debut. So she wanted to sing her new singles. So that was what was happening.
But did she comment on Chris's? Because Life as I Know It. What's up? What's up, Life as I Know It?
You know what Chris was giving me? I'm not sure if you watched The Household of New York City religiously, but there was a season where Ramona was married to her husband. I forget his name, but they had a wine, and maybe across all. This is universal across all the Bravo franchises. The women like to clown each other when it comes to their projects. So Mario was very protective of Ramona of her wine. So what happened was Luann took the wine unbeknownst to Ramona and did a blind taste test, and so Ramona could basically say that her wine was terrible. So Mario was like, okay, that was messed up, and he was really going off on the cast and the producers and stuff at that moment. Sometimes husbands get very protective, rightly so, of their wives' projects. And I feel like in that moment, Chris came out inebriated. I think Andy admitted to the audience that they all were drinking. All the people were drinking like crazy. I think he even said he was buzzed or something at the end of the finale. He came out there protective mode, like, oh my God, they were trying to clown my wife because they wanted to maybe, you know what, Tisa, maybe she had understanding with the producers, and Nikki made sort of queen move and said, no, I don't want to hear the new song, I want to hear the drawback song. Maybe at one point she was going to sing the new song or something, but maybe that's why he was upset that the script was flipped, and he came out there and was like, oh, you know, they didn't let her do what she wanted to do, and they trying to clown her, they trying to whatever. That it felt like he was protective of her, you know, creative art or whatever.
I can get with that. Also, Nubian Queen Nikki, I am going to start reviewing Girls Trip this week. I know I'm late to the party,
Wow.
but
Okay.
I'm going to start reviewing Girls Trip.
Luann and
Every
Teresa get into it too. I saw. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
okay, well, I'm going to do it. Now, here's the thing, and I don't want to be the person starting mess, but I got to say it, right? Andy came out to let Chris know everyone said Candace sounded good. That's not what I saw. I saw that Chris was a bit inebriated and he came out mad, and Andy came over to run interference to calm Chris down. Candace was trying to calm Chris down. Andy was trying to calm Chris down, right? Now, Chris is usually mellow yellow, right? And I think the drinking really got him going. And no, do I think Chris has a problem with drinking? No, I get it. Sometimes you're there all day. Sometimes it's a long day. Sometimes it's just like, and he didn't expect to come on camera, so he thought he was cool, right? And he didn't expect producers to get it, maybe. I will say that at the end of the day, you're not at a friend's house, you're at work. And if you were there to support me, it's like, Mel, if I invited you to like anything, right? And I need you to support me, but part of your support is to have my back, right? I'd be like, yo, it's like going to a work happy hour. You know, you have the young interns that are like, yay, free liquor. And they're just drinking like fish. But if you're any type of mature, you're like, this is still work, even though there's alcohol. So I'll have a little here and there.
That's
But
true.
after that, you're nursing the same drink all night. And if you get a second drink, you barely even touch that. But again, maybe that's me. Whenever there's a work environment, I'm like, no, y'all ain't, no, I'm not doing it, right? So maybe that's it. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it, because I know sometimes I be dissecting things, this and that, but I don't know. There was something with that. And not that Chris was going to do anything. Not that it was just the thing that Chris was very, very inebriated, and Candace was trying to calm him down, and Andy tried to run interference to let him know, like, no, Candace didn't get played. And, there was a little tension right there. But again, I do love the fact that he went into protective husband mode. And that's, like you said, what else do you want,
But
right?
you know what's so funny? Because we both love Bravo. I've seen that play out so many times on so many franchises. That same scenario. We had singing tonight, but it was Wine with Ramona and other serial. You know, Lance like back in hand. So it's just sometime to, oh, okay, we gonna talk about Miss Candy and maybe Todd and Phaedra and all that stuff. So sometimes the husbands, they just get really riled up and protective of their wives' businesses, and so I've seen it. It doesn't. Yeah, I've seen it. The Ramona one was a big one because
Yeah.
Mario got real mad when they tried to trick her. But that's what it felt like. He's being like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is not going according to script. Well, what are y'all doing? We don't want to sing tonight. She's not ready." He was
Yeah.
very protective. He's very protective.
You know what? You're right. And you know what? You're right. You guys, I take what I say back. Chris was being protective, and that's what been wanting him
And
to
drunk.
True, but you know what? That's what I wanted him to do all season. And he stepped up and he was like, babe, what's going on? And then she was like, babe, calm down. And honestly, that's the dynamic I like in my relationships, not somebody stumbling out drunk. But if somebody is picking on me or whatever, it's like, right? Pass me some tissue. And then it's up to me to say whether it's a problem or not. Do you know what I'm saying? I like
Hmm.
that dynamic in a relationship. I don't need you to go and tear up the whole stage, but be protective. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And if I'm like, no, no, it's cool. You're like, all right, but I got my good eye on them. So I like that. I like Chris like that. I like him protecting Candace. And maybe they had conversations about things that occurred during the season. And
Yeah.
again, this is why, like somebody said, that they're karmically linked. She's that Sagittarius sun, he's a Pisces sun. Maybe they had conversations after the season was over and was like, listen, we in this together, and this is how we can best
Yeah.
support each other, and let's do this. So
And Miss Queen Dara, you hitting at my heart right here when you said Aiden and Mariah Huck. Absolutely, that's
I just
exactly.
love Aiden and Mariah. Yo, Aiden
That's
did not know
right.
about Mariah,
He
and I
did.
loved that for him. I loved it for him. Even the way their relationship reminded me of my mom and dad's relationship, which I think is
Mm.
the best type of relationship. Me and my boyfriend have that kind of relationship now, but my mom and dad, like, they, you know, that when people have been married forever, right? Um, the way when they were talking about other women and this and that, and Ada was just sitting there listening, like, word, this and that. Then as soon as he saw Mariah, because their best friends was like, come here. Yeah, they were saying this and this and this.
That's
And they were
right.
like, why are you always telling to Mariah? And I was like, and that's when I was like, I feel sorry. And everybody except Eugene, because Eugene was like telling Toya. But when,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, everyone's relationship is different. But when a man or whoever is your significant other truly looks at you as their partner, you're not just their lover, you're not just their wife, you're not just this man or woman, you are also their best friend. So it's like if you see some mess going down, the first person you're going to pull aside is your best friend and gossip about it, because who else you going to tell? They're
That's
always putting
right.
it first. So I love the fact that Aiden and Mariah really seem like each other's best friends.
I miss them on Bravo. My heart breaks because I miss them so much. I love them, and she, Miss Queen Dara, you gone up my heart. You're absolutely right. Although Aiden wasn't as angry. Sometimes he you know, he just made me laugh because he, as short as he was like a pit bull. And anybody was coming too hard at Mariah, he would pump up real quick and be like, "Wait a
That's
minute," you
right.
know.
That's right.
Yeah.
You better literally,
Although
and
Mariah,
I love that. I
Although
love that.
Mariah can handle herself with everybody, honey. She is a queen, and I love that lady.
Listen, let me tell you something. I I expect I admire that, and if y'all as much mouth as I got and as much hands as I got when my man's around, any man or any person I'm dating, it's the same thing. It's just like, are you okay? No, I'm not. It's like there is something when someone is being protective over you, and it strikes me as odd that in this day and age more men don't activate that, but maybe they don't activate because they don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because when you
could
care
be.
about someone, it's like if you see someone being mean to your man, you're gonna automatically be protective, like, what's going on here? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird to see the person that you love, or even if you don't even love them, that you care about being treated badly. It brings up something that if somebody cares about you, even if it's your friend, they're going to step in and be like, well, hold on. So now they talk about Candace and Candace's mommy, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Nikki was like, what did you say to your mom? And she was like, well, I had a conversation. And Nikki was like, but you got to check her. Nikki, I am sick of, listen, I don't know what relationship people have with their parents. But in what world, one, do you check your parents? And two, they let you check them? My mom has not hit me since I was like a very little child. I'm not saying she was abusive, but you know how mom sometimes just lightning hands, right? Quick smack in the mouth, like watch your mouth. I do not think I could actually check my mom. And one, if she started crying, I would be so guilty that I'd be like, I'm sorry, mommy. Like, it's fine. Two, or if I anger her, she wouldn't tell me about myself, right? Or three, I mean, I doubt she'd put her hands on me. That, like, you know, it's like, so I just don't understand what world are we cold bloodedly checking our parents like there's somebody off the street when these are people that actually raised us. And again, barring somebody being a complete toxic monster, I don't know. Do people talk to their parents like that even when they're adults? Like, don't you guys feel guilty? Don't you guys feel bad? Now, when Giselle and Mel, this is what I want to ask you guys, and let me know in the comments. Giselle, I was looking at, like, Giselle, shut up. Because Giselle said, so you're going to let her disrespect your husband, right? And this and that, you got to check her. And I said, Giselle, what about your dad? What about your dad when he cursed Jamal out in front of the girls, right? When he literally cursed Jamal out and embarrassed the dog mess out of you and let everybody know your business that Jamal had 11 kids and just doing this and in the streets, right? Why didn't you check your dad? Why didn't you check your dad? Why didn't you say, yo, like, Giselle did not show us on camera. She never spoke about it. I doubt she said anything to her dad. What did you think about that? Did you think Giselle was being hypocritical?
But yes, I did. I did. You admitted I didn't think about that. So you just you said while I'm talking to you right now. You brought up a good point. No, you're right about that. So would you have to disrespect your? No, absolutely not. But would you say, Dad? this is the father of my children. We're giving another try, and so on, so on, and so on. And that would be the thing you say. So why isn't that not good enough when it comes to Candace and her mom? And somebody made a good point in the chat too here that Candy never checked her Mama Joyce. That is absolutely true. I forgot about that part. Yeah, I mean, Mama Joyce, she's in a ballpark to herself. I think she's Mama Dodd is like she's like a saint compared to Mama Joyce on and when she's at full
Mhm.
power. Um, yeah, I think that yeah, I never checked my mother, God bless her, and I never would have. And simple fact is, she had her moments, and I think that simple as children, it's to each his own. And for me,
Yeah.
I think what I have done. You can tell your parents you hurt me. You've hurt my feelings. You know, and this is hurting our relationship. These are not terms that you have to be explosive and calling names. Why in the world would you call a name somebody who gave you birth? Never in a million years. But you can tell them over and over because you know what? For me, there's some people that does get a pass. If you love them enough, if they family enough, you're never going to hate them. You're never going to go to that level as you would with somebody else. So if it's like part of your heart, like when people say, "You're my child," I'm never going to go this level. It's just the way it is. That's just a truth of life. So, but you can tell your parents you've hurt me. You made me very disappointed,
Yeah.
and I don't like what you've intimated on the television show. And you didn't have to do it, Mom, because it was no heat there. There was no fire there. Everything was going good. We out the house. We living with his. We have a good thing going on. You came out of the blue and you said for good TV. That was very hurtful. I don't like that, and we can't have it. If that's going to be your attitude, we're not going to have you around anymore for filming. No more filming for you.
And that's exactly how I would have checked my parents had they done that. That's and exactly, Mel. Again, you guys let me know in the comments. You keep saying there's a difference. Your dad publicly embarrassed you. Forget about him cursing out Jamal, but he then went to the producers and told all your business. And he wasn't checking Jamal then.
That's
He literally looked at the camera into the mic and said, he has 50, 11 kids. He did this and that and told all your business. The difference is Giselle, who I do not like, did not cry with tissues and play victim. She addressed it last year and said her dad. But here's the thing, Cool Cat. Giselle was a victim. And who cares? Listen, crying doesn't trigger me. As you guys know, I'm a big cry baby. So when I see somebody with tears, it's just an overflow of emotion. Some people yell, some people go silent, some people get cold. Everybody handles their overfilling of emotion. Some people shut down, right? And become very emotionally cold. It all handles different ways, right? However, Giselle, if she did cry, that would have been her right. And if she did play victim, you guys, we have to stop. I mean, y'all can do what you want, but I'm just saying, I think it'd be a good idea if we stopped actually bastardizing the word victim. There's nothing wrong with admitting that another human being was callous and trampled over your boundaries. And because of them callously trampling over your boundaries, not even callously, maliciously trampling over your boundaries and disturbing your mental peace. That is not saying that you are weak. It's not saying that you need to toughen up. And maybe in this world people do. But when are going to actually look at the person that maliciously crossed boundaries? When are we going to be looking at them as the errant bad thing? It's weird that there's literally dark clouds that goes from people to people to people. They maliciously trample your boundaries. They do it to other people. There are literally dark clouds going on, making ripple effects of negative energy. And they're allowed just to be agents of chaos because we got a whole country of people that have been brainwashed to think that if somebody is malicious and tramples over your boundaries, it's your fault and you need to toughen up. And the way you get around it is being like, oh, okay, I don't care. Why? But then you let an agent of chaos go someplace else. We need to stop these agents of chaos. Literally, like I just hurt people, right? It's like, and the thing is, sometimes people don't even realize that their behavior is unacceptable until you really actually check them. And maybe they won't give a damn when you say it. But when it's the 30th person being like, I'm done with your ass, then, but people are just like, ugh. Anyway, let me stop getting off my soapbox being psychology today. But there is something going on in America that all the victims have to find a way to deal with these agents of chaos instead of us being like, you are an agent of chaos, you need to be stopped. I'm going to literally, the way if somebody publicly lies to someone, cheats on someone, steals from someone, plays someone, that person has to keep it secret and suffer. And then if you say something, people are like, oh, you should have kept that private. Why? Who's it embarrassing? Why should I be embarrassed that you lied to me or stole from me or manipulated me or cheating on me? Why I got to be embarrassed? That says something about your character. I don't feel like I deserved it. You're insane for treating me like that. But that's just me, right? But back to Giselle, right? And back to what Mel was saying. I think what Mel's saying is the absolute way that I would check my parents. I would get there eventually, but first I would cut them off with silence, right? Like until I could control my emotions. And then at the end of the day, no matter how angry you are at them, assuming that your parents aren't toxic, this goes out the way if you have super toxic. I think maybe all parents are a little toxic, but if you have super toxic parents, it goes out the window. But if they're just the regular spectrum of toxicity that we were all raised under, yeah, exactly.
You
How can
see, yeah, I was gonna say for my family, we were weird because if anybody ever saw this show called 6 Feet Under, they never talked about anything. The whole series was them just being silent, and on the season finale, they had a big argument, and they pretended they didn't argue, and they went. That was my family. We never talked about anything. We acted like nothing was wrong, so we weren't really animated kind of people in our family. We just sort of were very quiet, and that's why 6 Feet Under came out. I was like, oh my god, that's our family. We were a little macabre, we're a little weird. We don't really, we smile all the time. We act like everything's good. So, that was what happened. But at a certain point, you do tell people, listen, you hurt my feelings. I'm
yeah,
disappointed in you. And yeah, Mama Dorothy, she does not need to be on the cameras. I think that's a conversation that Candace need to have with the producers. Listen, she's not on this season. She's not here. I think the same thing, and I'm going to bring up Monique. The same thing Monique did with her mother-in-law when it was getting too crazy. That's what Candace should do too with Mother Dorothy. Listen, if you can't act right, you're not
yes.
invited. You're not
Mhm.
invited if you're going to get up here and act a
Yeah,
fool.
they have a codependent relationship though, so I don't know if that's ever going to be.
Ooh,
Candace
oh,
and
that's
her
not
mom
good.
have a super, super, super codependent relationship. Who said that in our community? We need to address this. Very common in the Black community for there to be codependent relationships between mothers and daughters. It's very loving, but it's also very, very codependent. And not to say there's anything wrong with that, because my parents are still together and they are the most codependent people, right? So maybe they know something we don't. Maybe
Mhm.
codependency is how relationships actually stay together. But
Well, I was
do
going
you,
to ask you too, because that's a good point here. What are your feelings about that? So somebody said that Ashley's mom too. How do you feel about Ashley and their dynamic and her mother
I mean,
now?
honestly, I feel that Ashley's mom's dynamic is also very toxic. I do believe I think it's very, very toxic, but at the same way, Ashley loves her mom and would never disrespect her mom. And even when she had that conversation with her mom across the table of Michael wants me to cut you off, Ashley
Hmm.
didn't even get through it. She broke down in tears and was like, Mommy, I love you. I'll never do this to you. Like, don't worry, Mom. She couldn't even get it out. She was like, so we're gonna separate finances. And by the end of it, she was hugging her mom and in tears because again, Ashley and her mom have a very codependent relationship where she's probably seen her mom at very weak times and at one point Ashley took on a parental role. It's all jumbled up, but again, Ashley's relationship with her mom was the most human side of her, and I saw like why Ashley is the way she is. Janika Lawrence said, because life is about survival and honoring your God by surviving, not by playing victim. Janika, this is not GI Jane boot camp, girl. What are you talking about? My God told me to to be comfortable and prosper. Listen, all jokes aside, we got life is not about surviving. Life is about thriving. If you're surviving, you're doing it wrong. If you're surviving,
Okay.
you're just waiting for the next day until it's all over and you can finally have some peace and get your
Mm,
salvation in the kingdom of heaven. Forget that. He all blessed us and made us highly favored. Your kingdom is here on earth. A greater reward will be on heaven, but your kingdom's here on earth. I don't believe life is about surviving. I really don't. I mean, sometimes we've all been there where you have to survive and you get into survival mode because you're pushing through some hard times. But the goal is not to just keep surviving day in and day out. mental, at least not for me. We might be saying the same thing, but God didn't put us on this earth to be miserable. At least He didn't put me on this earth to be miserable. I don't know about y'all. So
Me neither. You know what? You listen. You got me. I guess it's what is it? Almost 1 o'clock here. I was going. When you woke me up on that part, I was like, oh yes, yes, yes. Wait a minute now, Miss Tisa. No, I'm not here to. I'm like, wait a minute. She's speaking some truth here. No, no, no. That's true. I'm not here to suffer. No,
no,
I fight that with all my. I fight that. I fight that notion with every power in my body. I'm not here to suffer. Or any of my friends.
Mel
No,
said, I reject that. I reject it as a concept. I reject it as a thought. I
absolutely.
reject it as
You
energy.
know, and not
Please
to
keep
get
that out of
too
here.
woo woo, but every day when I go to bed, what am I listening to? Action is Given by Esther Hicks. It's this woman who claims she was channeling, but anyway, it goes into this theory. I won't go too
No, no, get
philosophical.
into it. We want to hear it.
Well, basically, the woman she basically feels she was meditating one day, and 1 minute she heard a voice, and the voice said it was Abraham, and from that point on, she's been channeling this energy um, about balance and chakras and about energy and about all this kind of stuff. So I'm really into that kind of stuff. So
Yes.
I can go on this for 3 hours, but every day I go to bed with A Course in Miracles, which is another woman who was channeling something. I listen to a lot of channel material. Yeah, there we go. I love it. I love them too. So yeah, so that's why when this idea come up, yeah, I surround myself with these sort of ideas that yeah, I'm not here for suffering. I used to believe that when I was younger, but as I got older, no, I don't believe that anymore. I believe that life is complicated, and that's something that can be avoided. We know here in the news, we can't say the name, of course, on YouTube, but there's some things happening in the world, and I feel like, you know what, I can't control my future, but I can really sort of participate in my present moment, and my present moment is never really one full of misery and suffering.
I
But
love that.
yeah,
I love that so much. But I love that. Nubian Queen said yes, but some people are homeless and hungry and tortured on earth. This is correct. And it's not to say that like they're like that because of the goddamn chaotic agents that we let run amok through life and nobody holds them accountable. I'm being serious. When I say chaotic angel, I don't even mean like most people living on the street are dealing with some hardcore mental issues, demons, but it's all from hurt that people usually cause them in their childhood.
and I
And
would, yeah.
because,
Mhm.
go on.
No, no, I was going to say to Miss Nikki's point. Then we can't really go too deep, obviously, out of respect for TISA and the YouTube regulations. But this is a wonderful conversation that y'all talking about. We also can mention, and not really mention details, human trafficking. Let's go down that road. So there's so many abominable things happening in the world. I feel that that being said, there's still love and energy for every individual on this work. My belief is that if you have breath, you have purpose. So if you're breathing, there's always an opportunity for you to make a difference, for you to be an inspiration, for you to. Every life is sacred, no matter what situation it is. And I believe that we, personally, we listen. I think that, and we have millions and millions of people in India believes in reincarnation. So
Mhm.
at one time, maybe we were the pauper, and now we are blessed enough to have internet access, and who knows what the next life will be. So I just think we all on equal playing field. This life we have internet access, and some people don't right now.
I
Um, but
Yeah.
we have to send blessings and good vibes and donate to the places that we love and we respect and also the people that are in the chat right now, remember that even though there are abominable things happening in the world, doesn't mean that we ourselves have to not count our blessings because we are blessed.
That's a good point. Queen Nikki, you said to the point that people are homeless, hungry, tortured on earth. What about the enslaved? They are suffering. I agree with all this, everything Mel's saying. I will just say, and this is what he's saying, but just to cap off that point, this was to that point of we were put here to survive. They are surviving. And yes, humans and the dumb shit that we do are literally putting people in that situation. Literally. They are victims of society. They're probably victims of racism, systematic oppression, maybe victims of people not understanding if they have mental pathos that we don't understand. right? They are literally suffering. They are victims of a system of capitalism that is crushing them and saying you are of no use, you are no value, we cannot extract anything from you, so you are worthless. Sleep on the street like trash. And that is very, very sad, right? But my whole point is, and to this is Akosia's, homeless and torture, yes, it does happen, but I refuse to believe that pain is anyone's purpose. They are surviving. And yes, sometimes, like I said, that wave of life and misfortune hits you so hard that you are kind of clinging to, like, like a tree while the storms of pain are swirling around you. But that's not your life purpose. You weren't sitting here to spend your whole life doing that. Like Mel said, yes, sometimes, but the sun is coming, to quote Kanye West, even in the, prepare for the dawn, because even in thing, it cannot always be night, so I don't know. I hate to get all philosophical, but yeah, I do. And this goes into what we call victims. Even when we look on people in the street, we can literally walk past them and just ignore them, and all the
Hmm.
people, not just people on the street, because there's a lot of people that for whatever reason are unlucky enough or lucky enough that you don't see them on the street, but they're living in the car, or they're in an abusive relationship because they have a place to stay, or they're sleeping on their friend's couch doing God knows what, because it's better than like sleeping on the street. But they are all victims of this capitalistic society. They are all victims. And to me, saying somebody's a victim is not a bad word. It is saying, I mean, it is what it is. Somebody maliciously crossed your boundaries, and it is what it is, But yeah, again,
But yeah, I was gonna say again. Listen, you know what? I too can go into these kind of conversations for 3 6 hours. So that when they talk about it, I love it. But I was gonna say tonight the episode, bravo itself, because I'm not really was an Atlanta kind of person, and I know this is listen. This is you are the Atlanta ladies. I would have told you online. This tonight was really a good night for me. It gave me like I don't know a couple of years ago when the shows were good. We had everything popping. We had Bethany on New York, and we had New Jersey before Teresa went to jail, and we had Lisa Rinna and Kim going at it, and Kim really, so this night tonight was really giving me hope that maybe Bravo might come back because I snuck right into the Portia show, and
what do you think of it?
well, you know what? So I'll tell you one thing because you're going to go into more detail. Obviously, again, this is you're the professor of this. So what I saw, one thing was again, you probably gonna make something funny about it, and I'm looking for that. But she said in one of the parts, she said, "Listen, he posted about me, our birthday party or something, and I'm already having anxiety attacks about the public perception of this relationship. Nobody understands it, and then the producer said, "Well, you saying that he has to get your permission before he posts anything for him?" She said, yeah." I was like, "Okay." So it was giving me a lot of things going on. I was like, "Oh my God, I never heard her talk about that with relationships." That was one thing. And then also, she was saying, so what you were saying, okay, this was the mind blowing part. So what was said, I guess, here and with Miss Fallon and everything, was that he was, as you said, he was hungry for um, notoriety, hungry for being famous. So of course he would jump into this relationship, if you want to call it that, and start publicizing their connection, even if it's sending. If we believe TV, sending Portia into panic attack. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is messy as hell.
Listen, I agree with you. Just big sister, thank you so much for the super chat. You said John 10:10, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. Yes, preach, 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 preach. I will thank you so much for the super chat also. You know what? Again, we're going to get into this during the week, but I will say with that scene, let me know so many different things about the relationship. One, Portia is still wearing a mask in the relationship, because that whole conversation about the things, you can see she highly censors herself when she's with Simon. So the fact that she's like, "Oh, I can finally be myself." No, you're still playing a version of yourself. And Simon likes you playing the version of yourself where the very childlike version of you comes out. And granted, it might be a portion of Portia's personality, but you do not feel comfortable speaking freely to him. You don't. to
That's
the
true.
social media thing where you said, well, yeah, I know more. She does know more. She's been in this game a lot. I saw that patriarchal thing where Simon felt like, yeah, 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 but I know what's up and I know more than you and I'm going to post this. Three, Portia didn't want that shit posted
No,
because,
she didn't.
but she didn't want to post it because the timeline.
Oh
Those
my God, that
pictures,
was funny
those
and messy.
it was messy, but
Whoa.
those pictures exposed her timeline, the dresses she was wearing, the things that. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm beginning to think that her and Dennis were messing around until the very end, until she was like, "Yo, I'm engaged."
Mm-hmm.
I think that they had because it's weird about the timeline, the way she let it slip. That Dennis, that Mother's Day brunch that Dennis and Portia and stuff were filmed at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where that shot heard around the world. Interesting enough, I think Portia, because she's like, I was just rehabilitating my image. And she was looking at the light, trying to make herself cry. Not one tear came out, just maybe one hanging on the top lash. Um, she was saying that she had just finished rehabilitating her image on um, Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's talking about that Black Lives Matter stuff, right? People are starting to look at her seriously. And I think that Portia, honestly, was planning on slow walking, introducing the relationship. I
That's
think
right.
Portia was planning on
Oh,
turning it
girl.
into I comforted him, then I turned to my friend, then we got closer, and now by the time the divorce was supposed to go through in November, now we're lovers. You guys, guess what? I'm engaged. We got a Christmas engagement, and now I think she was planning on hiding the relationship. Don't forget that Dennis said this in the episode, that Mother's Day brunch, right? Dennis actually said, if I had known that she was dating dude or engaged to dude, whichever that word was, I wouldn't have thrown her the Mother's Day brunch. You know that picture when she's sitting there, whatever? And get this, here's even more thing.
Oh,
Simon showed up unannounced. And get this, her cousin said, that is the messiest situation that Portia's ever put us in. Not Simon, not Dennis, but Portia put them in that situation, which lets me know you were juggling both of them and your family knew about it. And they were
yeah.
looking at you like, why didn't you keep your one guy away from the other? You know what I'm saying? And
You know what? It was just you right. It was just so much. I listen again. This is your life. You know this like a professor. So for me, I wasn't, it wasn't my thing, whatever. But I'm watching. I was like, okay, well, when they were house shopping, even that was like they were saying, oh well, we can't have people in the house. I'm like, oh my, it was just too many moments for them. So who are you going to have in your house? Then they were saying, it was just so much. Then the timeline. So they in the show fouling in the show, what did you get clearance? And it's so many questions. So listen, I'm excited for you because for me, I was an Atlanta person a couple of years ago, but tonight I was like, it was so messy. It was so good. And I don't even know if the producers are on her side because
they're
the way
not.
yeah, the
They're,
way that the way that they put out the facts, like, okay, let's show Fallon's picture. Let's make the joke about the house. Like, okay, we got a new house, so now any girl to come in here, they can't be in the pool. I'm girl. Oh, Jesus Christ.
listen, the
It was a
producers are
lot
giving
hot
her,
mess.
listen, producers are giving her a horrible edit.
Yes,
And
they
they
are.
always had a thing, even the way the relationship, they met up for lunch. Again, this is just me being nitpicky. You guys show up for the live tomorrow at 12 p.m., 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel. We're going to have panelists. It's
Well, I
going to
mean,
be
I was going to say, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was going to say, what your live is tomorrow, because again, it's going to be in the morning time, which is different from Miss Tisa, because she do it more. Will you be doing a more of another conversation, a free form conversation where people can, you know, do their thing a little bit? Because that's going to be one, but I know you're going to have more, hopefully.
yes. So we're going to have the live. We're going to see how this shapes up, right? With panelists. Probably, I don't know, probably the way we always do it. Maybe have callers come in, of course. And then I'm going to start doing like breaking things down more in depth uh,
Yeah, I think so.
as
Yeah,
the week
yeah.
goes on. So we'll have multiple panels because there's so much. I have a new expose dropping, but I will say that, yeah, it's a mess. And even they were like, when I was just like, how the hell are you guys meeting up for lunch and taking shots of tequila for lunch? what the hell? Listen, it's none of my business. That was just me when I'm just like, y'all taking shots of tequila for lunch like you live on vacation. Like, yeah, I
Wow.
guess. I guess there was so
Let's
much
see.
in that. You're right. There was so much fun, so much things. It's nice to pull it apart, but the
Mm-hmm.
producers, and when she was on Watch What Happened Live, I was just like,
I missed it. I didn't
girl,
watch it. Oh yeah.
you didn't miss anything except for Portia giving her PR answers. But it's like, girl, and again, here's the thing I do know. Portia's fans don't believe her. They just need talking points. You know, it's like anyone that when you're on someone's side, it's like Mel, like, right? Your family, right? Do you necessarily need to believe them? Or are you just like, can you just give me a talking point so I can defend you? And then once you
That's
got
right.
it, it's like, well, you shouldn't have bumped into her. What did you expect? Right? And it's just like they came with a machete. Well, but you shouldn't have bumped into her. She was next in line. So you just need a talking point to defend them. So yeah,
Oh my
that's what's going
gosh.
on. But listen, you guys, I will be on tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on the channel. We're going to do other recaps. Me and Mel are going to work it out to see how we're going to like get in when we where we fit in and whatnot. We'll post the schedule, but we're doing recaps. So it's going to be on my channel this week. The next week, we're going to be on Up and Adam. Then the next week, we're going to be on Layla Lynn's. And then the next week, we're going to be on the Grace Reports channel. So we're going to
Awesome.
rotate.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to rotate channels. So that's pretty cool. We might be doing something for Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I don't know. Or you guys might get me dolo. We will see how things share. But make sure you join at 12:30 p.m. if you can, even just to say what's up in the chat, because y'all, I could use the support, you know? And I am a small, humble, but mighty YouTube channel, you know? So I'm like, you know, the rookie. Come and show me some love around these big wigs. You know, I'm the rookie, right? I'm the rookie. So I actually need you guys' support. I'd appreciate if you guys could show up, all right? And Mel, thank you so much for showing up. We're gonna connect. I'm gonna sort the situation out with my phone. We are going to connect and yeah, we'll connect and like you guys, we'll let you know what me and Mel have cooking. And Mel, anything, anybody you want to shout out? Anything you're doing you want to shout out? Go ahead, Mel. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I will be doing an LGBT panel in a couple of weeks. I'm it's still, sort of getting together. That's about it. And just life is just, it is what it is here in New York City, and just trying to keep it safe and healthy, and regular life. But that's about it for now. And I'll probably be playing with the TikTok in the next couple of, I don't know, sometime. I'm going to try to get. I love in TikTok right now, so I'm going to try to play with that a
Yes.
little more. But that's about it. I'm just, you know what, this was a season. The season's over of Potomac. We made it through, and it was just good to really have a chance to get up here and talk about it for the whole season. It's concluded. I hope everybody had a wonderful time without all of us, talking about this show. And hopefully we come back next year sometime to talk about Potomac. And I look forward to Tisa's. She got me to to Portia, and it just was so many things going on that I have to watch it again tomorrow. So I now am. I just know the producers are not on her side, so that makes me want to watch a little more. So yeah.
Yes, Mel, thank you so much. But stop acting like it's forever goodbye. We're going to see what we can do to actually, and also when you have that panel, let me know. I'll make sure I show up with all my Tattle Tells. As many of you will join me and will definitely support. And always down to help and support you wherever I can. Just say the word and say the word on live. For now, I'm gonna start being like Mel, advertise right now before we even give people tea. But let me know, Mel. I'll definitely support. I'll definitely whatever. If you want me to show up on the panel, whatever you need, I got you. Don't hesitate to ask, right? And you guys, Tattle Tells, we gotta support Mel because he's been so good to us. We have to make sure that he shines and grows. Okay, you guys? Always, always,
Thank you.
always.
Have a wonderful night.
All right, everybody. Night, guys. And don't forget 12:30 p.m. tomorrow on my channel. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody. Oh, and don't worry, everybody. I will be doing a brief synopsis beforehand. Don't worry. All right. Talk to everybody later. Bye.